So this is kind of like in Vietnam they had this thing called the Tet Offensive, which is the art of war. It's kind of the same thing. It's like attack and then hide. It's like run. It's like not traditional. This is why Vietnam won the war, was because these are people that like to run, attack, and then hide type shit, and like hide in the shadows and hide in the bushes and hide in the darkness, and then pop out and attack with Mars and Pluto together. So it's not a traditional enemy, and then they're gonna attack you in ways and then hide. So like, um, don't expect, or do some sneaky shit. So don't expect to know the whole truth of how they attack you. You know what I'm saying? Um, that leads to other type of manipulation like that. You remember like a good way to think of Scorpios, like, this is kind of like all women, but you know what I'm saying? But especially Scorpios, and then like, I don't know if you used to watch this TV show, Family Matters, but there was a character named Laura, who Steve Urkel was like crazy about. It was the main girl, and so he was chasing her almost every episode. And this went on for years and years. And then one time, at one point, he gave up and he ended up getting with another girl. I think it was Mara or something like that. I think she ended up dying in real life, the actress who played her. You know what I'm saying? And Laura got jealous, even though she didn't even want Urkel. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that he was showing the attention to Mara he got with her, like, she was extremely jealous of this. And like, this is kind of like Scorpio in that, like, they kind of want what they want what they can't have. You know what I'm saying? And then like, they pretty much, it's like desire. You know what I'm saying? Desire and the urge not to desire. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? This is literally what plays with Scorpios a lot. Is that like, okay, you say you don't want something, and then you see somebody else with it, and all of a sudden you want it type shit. And they're like, these are the urges that pull a Scorpio all the time. They're like, they're controlled by shit like this. And because their emotions and like feel the urge of feeling like they're getting left behind or people not paying them attention, shit like that. Like that shit fucks with them. You know what I'm saying? They will use their friends, their family, and their spouse. You know what I'm saying? They kind of naturally use everybody, but not use everybody in the sense of like Capricorn, like use people do they will, but they kind of use people in a way that they just feel that they smarter and like better than everybody. So like they the reason that a lot of times Scorpio feel like they relate to you so good is because it's like almost forced, in that like they are not necessarily relating to you. They're just kind of using the situation. You know what I'm saying? And that they are not. There's a TV show called Death Note. If you watch that shit, there's a character on there named Light. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in his family he used, but it was hard to see it on the surface. And that like he seemed very caring and stuff like that, but he was really just using all of them to advance his own goals of, you know what I'm saying, using this Death Note. You know what I'm saying? What basically what Death Note was is like, if you wrote somebody's name down in this book, I got the Death Note here. This is the Death Note. You know what I'm saying? I highly suggest, if you haven't seen this and you are a Scorpio, I highly suggest you go watch this. You know what I'm saying? It basically says if you write somebody's name down, then they die within 40 seconds. See what I'm saying? And the main character that used this, his name was Light Yagami. You know what I'm saying? And to me, he was like the definition of a Scorpio. And then like all of his traits, he was highly manipulative. You know what I'm saying? He was using everybody around him, you know what I'm saying, to basically advance he was killing all these criminals like around the world. Like to him, he saw himself as a god, and that he was killing criminals, and you know what I'm saying, but the police, they just saw him as a murderer. You know what I'm saying? So they were trying to figure out who he was. It was trying hard to figure out who he was because you can't figure out who it is. Somebody just writing the name down and picturing them in their head, and they died. So like nobody knew who this guy was, and he became like worldwide known. Like killer, he literally was trying to get world domination, like just killing people. Anybody who went against him, he was killing them. And like it was only certain people who knew who he was. You know what I'm saying? And like, but basically, like, if you didn't know that it was him, he was basically using you, and you had no idea that he was using you. And like
Shit, I've been talking this whole time. What's going on, family? Yo, NBC The Game live. District coming from you live from District 13, the real Taiwan, the real District 13, the real home machine city, home of the semiconductors that run your life. Yeah, why I hate Scorpios. I'm gonna tell you why I hate Scorpios, man. I mean, clearly you Scorpios think you're the best, but why did you ask yourself why does everyone hate you? Why does everyone hate your ass? You got to hear these things, especially. I'll do a caveat. We're talking about astrology right now. You should know astronomy before you go to astrology, because astronomy, knowing where the planets are, is how you use astrology to your advantage. And I'm not talking about soothsaying and telling the future and all that. So don't get your panties in a bunch, you Christians and whatnot. We're talking here about personality. Astrology is personality, man. That's what it is. You go to the county fair. You know, I grew up in Machine City, number 1.0, the Santa Clara Valley, aka Silicon Valley, aka the Garden of Heart's Delight, as they used to call it. And you go to the county fair over there in the east side of San Jose, and they have in exhibition hall A, when you walk in there after you get your fried Indian bread from the Native American booth right there, you can go in there and they have a personality test. That says a personality test, and it has all these bells and whistles and like it looks like some type of gadget from the 1950s, right? And it spits out, you pay the money and it spits out a paper with your personality traits. And mind you, this was in the 80s, 90s. So all they did was they put a case around a printer and just looked up your damn astrology chart, your natal chart, right? Where the stars were when you were born. And this shit, it shut out your personality traits, which is just your astrology chart. What you how you act on default, I guess. Yeah, so we're not doing any horoscope, soothsaying, predicting things. We're just talking about how the personality runs on default, because there are things that go beyond your personality. One is the most high, God, definitely, right? Another is your awareness. So shout out to brother Jack Talcott. Thanks, blessings, love, peace. Peace to you. Yeah. Some cross promotion with machine lines. Uh, Jack Talcott. See you tomorrow, Talcott Tuesdays. Yeah, not Taco Tuesdays. Talcott Tuesdays. Yeah, yeah. So and shout out to Machine Lies. He'll probably be going live at the end of the week. I'm assuming. Right. He had a great show. We were talking about Dr. K, Uncle Teddy the other day. It always comes back to all these experiences and most of these activities we keep busy with, are they surrogate activities, keeping us away from actually getting in there and interacting with reality, real reality, right? Maybe astrology is that. Maybe trying to dissect your personality, which isn't real to begin with, because what is a person? Are you a person? A person is what the Greeks, or at least they call in Latin, a persona, a mask that the actors used to wear in the amphitheater, so you could see their face if you were in the cheap seats in the back, and they would have exaggerated facial features for being happy or being sad, and then this mask or persona would have a microphone, natural microphone mouth, and it was constructed in a way where it amplified your voice out, right? And isn't this what the persona is? How you show yourself to others is how they see you. And it's like a feedback loop. You make up your persona or your rising sign or your astrology chart by how other people see you, man. A persona. But so we're talking about the default persona here, right? How you act on default, right? But you can transcend this stuff. Yeah. I mean, those of us who have friends, I hope some of you guys have and girls have or you even if you don't have it yourself, you have at least some friends that have relationships with people, romantic relationships with people, so you can relate to this. But if not, I mean, try to play some cosplay or something with this. So, recently, a friend of mine who broke up with the Scorpio, um, which means I've been hearing a lot about Scorpio this, Scorpios are like that, right? And I said, well, I'm Scorpio sun sign. Now, and if that makes you like kind of lean back a little from your screen while you listen to this, then maybe you are one of the many Scorpio haters out there. And I'll get back to this, and it is kind of retarded to hate on someone just because of their sign. You know, it's something that you can't control. And if so, Scorpio is maybe not the most detested sign of the zodiac. Gemini probably wins that one. Then they probably are the most misunderstood. And yeah, that is kind of like a Scorpio thing to say. I'm being misunderstood. That's why you don't get me. Cheers to look within. I just got done with my last job, driving home from work. Okay, cool. You're driving. Should we play that taxi um, theme song for you, bro? Na 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 na. Machine Lies with the salutations to look within you. May you have a healthy, long life. Absolutely. Shout out to brother Jack Talcott. All information may be a distraction or have significance. Intentions and purpose determine the relevance of the relationship. Yeah. Once again, Jack Talcott is becoming a go-to for me when I wake up and of like how to be copacetic, I guess, in the midst of a storm. He's like the eye of a storm where there's a lot of chaos and stuff going around him, things whipping around him, yet he still holds frame, as you red pillars say. He's holding frame steady like a rock in the middle, like an oak tree. Maybe not an oak tree. Maybe more like a what do they call that? What's the one that bends kind of, right? But still strong, like bamboo or something like that shit. Strong but can be flexible. Yeah, but anyway, I'm like, bro, I told him this too to his face. Why you put yourself in this harm's way with all these people that bring you harm digitally and whatnot? And he said he's doing what God told him to, right? And the thing is too, like I see that because whether whatever got him to do what he's doing, he's a great example for me anyway of like how to keep pushing, bro. He's like, I know Lumatami made a video where he got hit by the car. He kept getting hit by the car over and over again on the video, and he kept getting up and walking, bro. And there's probably a uncommon commonality those two have together, getting hit, and getting up and walking still. And I see that with Jack every morning and stuff like that. But I hope he gets his rest and takes care because these people are relentless, man. But I guess so is Jack as well, which is a good thing. Shout out, much respect and appreciation. God has brought me into many messes in the past, for sure. Absolutely. Shout out to Ezra Mindful Exposures. Check out her channel. Check out all these people's channel for interesting, high-powered content. Mindful Exposures. Much respect to Brother Mo, who I owe uh, and respect his message. You are such a blessing in my life, brother. So sweet, so true. Yeah. Sarah, Sarah, peace to you, my Amazon interest friend. Yeah, that's dope. Okay, yeah. So back to this thing, this thing. Why I hate Scorpios, man. I started asking people that I know because a lot of them like to talk about astrology here and there. If you bring it up, I asked them like, why do you think people hate Scorpio so much? And even some of my closest friends had some rather strong opinions about it. This one friend back home, he was a Sagittarius, said he used to date this woman who was a Scorpio sun sign, Scorpio moon, and he told me that Scorpios are, well, the way he sees it, are too guarded, and they expect other people to read their minds and hold outside grudges over the tiniest issues. And there was another friend who was a Gemini. Those were people born in June, usually, end of May. She told me that, and this is funny coming from her. Scorpios are self-centered, judgmental, and too quick to call others out or perceived slights. You get it? This thin skin motif is coming up over and over again with the Scorpio. My old housemate, who's a Cancer, he said that Scorpios are a textbook example of avoidant attachment styles, and that Scorpios keep people at arm's length to their own disadvantage. And if all my friends in squish reality, IRL reality friends, in real life friends, said all that, then some of the strangers that I asked the same questions to on Twitter, or even harsher, yeah. So I tweeted and also put on Instagram. I said, tell me why you hate Scorpios if you hate them, right? Just to see what happens. So actually, I have no one to blame for this but myself. One person actually DM'd me. They said in caps. I was like, they went the caps. I literally hate Scorpios, and they didn't even respond why they hate them so much, right? They didn't even say why they hate them. This Pisces emailed me even and told me that the Scorpios are broody and seductive, irrational, secretive, and somehow uh, in a weird twist of fate, they're actually pretty codependent and emotionally avoidant. And then some of the folks, about three or four people who said they've dated Scorpios in the past, were saying that this was a funny one. They said that they tend to be fuck boys and fuck girls. uh, Another one of them said that her ex is the most deeply comical, evil person she ever met. And even some fellow Scorpios said that they never again will date a Scorp. Some of them even said they're absolutely horrible people. Um, so I guess if people are saying that they've had these experiences and they put so much weight on somebody's sun sign, um, I guess you would be careful what you wish for, right? Right. Let me see. Let me drop this down. Okay. Oh. Ah. Okay, there you go. So a comment from Jack Talcott. This is a small but powerful gathering of amazing names and individuals for sure. We got this. I agree. I love that Charlie Brown so much. Shout out to Pittsburgh, PA, the home of my lovely wife, Miss MPC, and the great Mr. Rogers, Fred Rogers. Why am I? I'm connotating Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers' neighborhood with the great Charles Schultz, cartoonist, with the Peanuts song, skating. Uh, I guess that's just part of my narrative, childhood, mixed up in one. Then for the lore, I got the Sesame Street remix for the outro. Let's see. Always child at heart with the man mindset. Okay, so this is it. Would you say triple horn something? Oh, here she goes. As triple horns over here. Aries, Taurus, year of the ox. Wow. That's a lot of forward march energy. You got the Aries, the yogi of the zodiac, right? Miss NPC's a triple Aries, getting it done. Taurus, you're Aries Taurus, so you must be on the cusp. That's my little Benjamin. He's April 22nd, right? You got the Aries pushing ahead. Aries are cool. No, we're speaking in generalities, remember? Class, friends, family. So don't take this shit personal unless it pertains to you. Yeah, so Aries are, they don't get mad. They get very angry at times, really quick, suddenly, but at least they can kind of move past that quick. Whereas the Taurus, which is the opposite sign of Scorpio, so they have a lot of similarities. They just go about things differently. A Taurus can hold on to things a long time, which is a good thing when it teaches you how to be steadfast and hang in there, right? Think about the cow or the bull grazing in the meadow, the beautiful meadow of the valley, right? We're talking about Silicon Valley earlier, Santa Clara Valley in my hometown. Grazing in the meadow, everything's cool. They're taking their time. And then when that Taurus gets a hold of something they love, then they start to move fast and produce, and they become the producers of the zodiac. And then the year of the ox takes it into a whole new another level. The brother Bonaparte, Napoleon, the ox. My brother Jordan's the ox. Ox is are some strong, capable beings. Jack Talcott, my son is a Scorpio. I don't pay attention to horoscope or astrologies or personalities back then. Yeah. I mean, I didn't either. I started to look into that. Mm, Probably like 2000, 2004, 2003, so almost like 20 years ago. Yeah. If your son's a Scorpio, my son's a Scorpio rising. So even though he's not a son like a Scorpio son like your son, my son, he has the style of doing things as a Scorpio. That's what the rising sign tells you. Your style of how you do your sun sign. So for example, he's a Taurus, like Ezra, kind of Taurus, Aries cusp, sun sign. That's your sun sign's your core, we can say. How you run on default, right? How you want to be seen and express yourself. So he's a Taurus at the core, but his style of being that Taurus cusp is with the Scorpio. It's the style of a Scorpio. That's one easy way to look at it, right? So if your son's a Scorpio, they can hold on to grudges and stuff. However, good thing for Jack, that Scorpio, if he's really balanced and evolved he's gonna really love his dad to almost like obsession, right? I mean, come on, bro. Scorpios have the urge to merge. That's their mantra, one of their mantras. I desire, and they desire to make connections. And what better connections can you make with somebody than the person that you shot out their balls when they were a little sperm and shit? So, what's your IG? My IG sister mindful exposure is test stream, one word, 88. That's me on IG. Dirt Shed at Dirt Shed on Twitter. Ooh. Yeah, we're going over those true stories about people and their signs and whatnot. Fascinating. Jack Talcott comment. Some of these traits were visible in my son even at 15. Yeah, you can see that. He's probably evolving quickly, quickly, quickly. Mindful exposure with a comment. You're only defined as you wish to be viewed. Yeah, hashtag resonance frequency. Yeah, that's true. How you wish to be perceived is how you will be perceived. It's that feedback loop I was telling you about the rising sign. How your rising sign on your persona, how people see you, is how you get your cues of how to act, which reinforces your persona. The thing is, people talk about knowing your sun sign, right? However, the persona blocks that shit. Your rising sign, especially when you're younger, you use it as a shield almost, right? So when you're younger, if you really want to know about yourself, learn about your persona, your rising sign. Because as you get older and you don't really care as much as about how people see you, right? You drop your persona and then your sun sign gets a chance to shine. Like says, shine bright like a diamond. What's he say? Ooh. Shout out to Miss NPC. Shout out to her. It's a holiday over here, so we got the whole clan here. Benjamin, Rebecca, uh, the whole clan is here, right? It's Moon Festival here. That's an interesting mythology we'll get into. This holiday, Moon Festival in Taiwan, is a holiday that's similar to 4th of July, where people barbecue and they shoot fireworks and drink beer, I guess. 24th, my rising is supposed to be Leo, very forward energy. That's right. Put your head down. What's up? What's up, Power Spear? Good to see you. AKA Shift, my brother, the king. Taurus, Sun, Scorpio, Moon. Yeah. Oh, wow. That's like, I mean, that's like me, but flipped. Nobody likes to cross Scorpio moons. Yeah, I'm a Scorpio moon too. We'll get into a Scorpio moon right here, man. The moon is how allegedly how you were represents your how you were raised, your relationship with your mother, and maybe even your internal dialogue that you have. Right. Shout out to the big homie. Shout out Buddha. Shout out to the homies. Book of Gabriel. There we go. Aquarius rising. Shadowback. Aquarius out the box. Thinking outside the box. Maverick. Eccentric. And then you got the Aries sun. Right. That's probably why he has such good takes on things. Excuse me. When you have like Mercury, which represents your the way you think, the way you talk to people. When you have that in communicate your Cartesian reality, how you make it up. When you have that in Mercury in Aries, you're definitely a person that can pick up things quick. You see things because Aries is the moment. You're in the moment, in the now, right? So you pick things up quick. You learn quick, right? You see things for what they really are. You see through the bullshit, and I see Shadow is definitely gifted with that. Uh, shit. Taurus moon fast. Yeah, that Taurus moon. The Taurus moon is nice. That's what my wife has. It softens out her Aries nature, her fiery Aries nature. The Taurus moon puts it like a restrictor plate on that fiery energy in a way because like I said, the moon represents your sense of nostalgia, your like you said, your relationship with your mother, your inner dialogue, your emotional body, we could say, right? And Taurus is a beautiful sign because it has Venus as their planet. Each sign has a planet that rules it. So the Venus, as we know, represents beauty, aesthetic beauty, love, right? How you want to be loved, how you like to love people, right? So if you have a of an inner dialogue that's like love and art and beauty, that's why so many Venus Tauruses are artists, great artists, because they love aesthetics. Taurus here, just as I speak her up. Special K's here. Shout out to Special K and J. Taurus here, bro. That's my rising sign right there. Right? Yep. Taurus is. That's why people say, Gabriel, you're easy to talk to. You hold a safe space. I don't know about safe space, but they say a comfortable space. Yeah, because us Tauruses like to go get cozy. We love to get cozy. Right? So, so when I was talking to these people earlier about who we had on our shout out to Ezra, she said, see, she's an artist too. She's talking about she's a photographer, videographer. I could tell by the way you set up your videos. You got some style, sis. So when I was talking to these people about, I put out the question, why do you hate Scorpio much? I wanted to see, they gave me all that hate. So then I asked them on the reply, I said, what are some of the pros of the Scorpio? You know? So I didn't get any, I didn't get much of an answer back. So I had to hit up my astrology buddies, right? My sorcerer friends, right? And one of them told me, Alan, he told me that it's all about whether the Scorpio in question has put in the inner work to become the best version of themselves. Or as other astrologers put it, if they're an evolved or unevolved Scorpio, right? That's how he says it. I say it like, are you a balanced Scorpio? Are you a balanced Taurus? Are you an unbalanced Leo? You know, right? And if you come across a Scorpio, for example, who's not living the life they're meant to or feels misunderstood in their environment, the negative cliches will seep out. Alan was telling me. A more evolved Scorpio is going to love you unconditionally and give you great advice and protect you and use that passion that they're known for to fight with worthy causes. It's just that, just like all of us in the panel verse and beyond, Scorpio must learn to use their power for good, right? We have all these gifts, but how are we going to use it? Yeah. Another friend of mine, Marcus, was saying that some of the Scorpio haters have likely had bad experiences with Scorpios, and others may in fact be avoiding confronting their own Scorpio-like natures and traits, and it's easier to project what you don't like onto others as a way to learn from and see it, right? Like that projection screen. Like we went the other day to go see Deadpool. Holy shit. That motherfucker, Deadpool, he definitely has some scorpionic dark tendencies, the stuff he talks about, and how he'd be murdering people and stuff. However, he does have that Aquarian Bugs Bunny nature, just acting like a trickster, right? It's funny, dude. Pretty much the only Marvel movies I like. Ryan Reynolds, I'll say it, the funniest person right now on the silver screen is a Canadian. I can't believe it. So the things that we'll say that the Scorpio represents to you could be things that you refuse to see. So instead of acknowledging it in yourself, you want to hate a whole star sign. And the one thing I noticed is that only people who have more to say about Scorpio's negative traits than their exes are the Scorpios themselves that I know, which are hard to find because they be dwelling and doing their Scorpio stuff in their little caves, scorpion caves. It's like Brian, my good friend, whose brother's a Scorpio, said oh no, he was telling me his brother, who's a Scorpio, was telling him that his friends are convinced that he could commit murder simply because he's a Scorpio. And This is crazy. People think they get so wigged out on this stuff, man. And then somebody else told me, I'm trying to think who it was. Been talking to so many people on this for this podcast, this live stream about why I hate Scorpios. Another person told me we're sending so much energy hiding how we feel and keeping people in private that it's likely comes across as cold to other people. Well, the truth is that the Scorpios, they feel so deeply that we can't afford to share it with anyone, right? Because your fear of you're going to get crushed. That's why the symbolic of the scorpion has all that armor. Take away that armor, it's just a squishy little bug with a bad attitude that actually probably just feels misunderstood. Yeah. And on all these traits, we're talking about Scorpio, and it could be about, but it can be just about anybody you come across. Because you are, like Moby says, we're all made of stardust, right? We're all made of stars. We have all the planets and stars in us that God gave us, all those traits. There was this old article I found from the magazine, was called Hairpin, and it was titled "Astrology is Fake, but Scorpios are extremely true." And it begins by saying something like, "It should be illegal to be a Scorpio. It should be a war crime, even. It should be a thing that you can only look at a Scorpio from a distance of 200 meters, and you have to be wearing protective headgear while you're doing it." And if you're a Scorpio and you're reading that, stop, because you're probably smiling. And people who aren't a Scorpio, they don't appreciate that, bro. You guys can be a little bit too much, a little, a little bit creepy, and yeah, this Scorpios like to brag. But I have this like theory about Scorpio. Scorpios thrive on Scorpio hate. Or at least they'll tell you that. They'll tell you that it makes them stronger. And yeah, for example, if you think like they're a sex maniac who will cut you off with no notice, sure, they can be that. Or if learning I'm a Scorpio makes people intimidated by me, they say like, "Hey, I'll take it." And quite frankly, they'll lean into it. In support of this theory I've been thinking about is that many of the Scorpios I talked to felt a little uncomfortable with their sun sign when they were younger. And I have to say, maybe I did too, a little bit. Because when I first picked up an astrology book like 20 years ago, I decided that maybe I feel like a little bit more of that Sagittarius energy, um, which is a sign after Scorpio, because Scorpio's dark, sexy vibes were kind of intimidating, could be intimidating to some people. It turns out I did have Sagittarius prevalent in my chart. So I did have a point, kind of. But as I kept reading and learning and experiencing life, I embraced my sun sign, and now, it's I'm proud of that shit. It's cool. I mean, it's fun to learn about yourself, and then especially if you have that Scorpio energy, and you really look into that emotional depth that they're known for, that emotional depth that's a strength and not a weakness. Things can begin to turn around for you, especially if you didn't have that much confidence. Because once you realize that emotional depth is a strength and not a weakness, you're not afraid to be intense or serious. So you see the qualities that many hate in Scorpio, the guarding their inner feelings, the intensity, the fascination with darkness, can be positive if you look at it the right way. And like I like I told my good friend Ali, we're not for everyone. However, Do we want to be? I say no. I say no. I'm gonna drop this link. I got some other things to talk about and share, but that was pretty much the crux of what I was trying to get out about the Scorpio and the hate. So you're more than welcome to come chop it up and share what you have to share. What you have to share. All right. Boom. Let's play some more David Little for a sec. Shout out to Dave Little.
Of course, because that's what Scorpios do. So one of you asked, how do you deal with being misunderstood? Here is the amazing part about your question, because it's actually the wrong question. What you're really asking, or what you should really be asking, is how do I deal with caring about what people think about me? So when you feel misunderstood, that means there is some sort of battle to change someone's mind about you. Misunderstanding means that you feel that others aren't interpreting who you are or what you're saying in the manner that you want to deliver it. Now, for me, I just give a message. I give a message, and if I'm not actually teaching a class, now I don't know what you mean by this. I doubt that you mean that you're a professor and your students are misunderstanding you. That is a whole different context. Because when I have my sessions every Thursday, if you remember, you know, you know. If you're not, join my membership. It's near the subscribe button. But if you are in my group, in a group setting where I am the mentor, where I am the teacher, then I do care if you actually misinterpret something, because that can mean you not getting ahead to where you need to be. But most of you are not asking that question when you talk about misunderstanding. You're talking about trying to force someone to see in the way that you do, maybe force them to believe in the way that you do. And I don't think it's your responsibility, certainly not my responsibility, for you to get me as a person, for you to agree with me, for you to even resonate. And resignation means that there's some sort of understanding, like, oh, I understand that. It doesn't have to be agreement, but you're like, oh, I've had that experience. I understand in some way. It's not my job. It's not your job to get someone else to understand anything. I don't care if it's your parents. I don't care if it's your siblings, any of these people. Now, what you're really trying to do is you're trying to be liked. You're trying to be validated. You want to be accepted. That is the question. You want to be, how do I not care about being accepted? That's the
Yeah, it's this weird feedback loop of you're very eager to want to be seen, acknowledged, and liked, so much so that you get in the way for real opportunities for people to understand you, right, what you're saying, right?
that's the root of all of what you're trying to rectify. And the one thing about getting older, I know we are in a youth obsessed climate right now. Everybody wants to be 20 and 25. You cannot pay me to be 20 or 25. You cannot pay me. If somebody was like, I'll give you $1 billion cash to go back and relive your 20s, I wouldn't even budge. I'd be like, get away from me.
This is a blast from the past from my 20s. Speaking of it, no. What's up, Power Sphere Shift Kings?
What's going
How's
on?
it going,
You
bro?
hear me well? You hear me well?
Yeah, it sounds good. Sounds good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm just
good but
chilling,
not
just taking.
great. That's from
Yeah,
American
because I'm
Psycho.
using But yeah, just
Yeah.
to relate to the topic, I mean, yeah, everybody, Scorpios get a bad rep, but to be honest, I got along the worst with Sagittarius people. It's just like I don't know how their mind works. It's very chaotic. Like they're all over the place.
Well, yeah. Well, it's Sagittarius is the symbol is the traveler, the guy, the archer, right? And
Yeah.
so they're known as being kind of light, taking things light, um, and breezy almost, right? And then sometimes
Hmm.
when things to get to be too heavy, they're opt to travel, literally leave, or put their mind into one of their other gifts, which is being a philosopher, thinking about the big picture. So maybe
Hmm.
for a
Interesting.
Scorpio, that might be kind of annoying sometimes when you want to get deep into a conversation, like go finer and finer. That's what going deeper means
Yeah.
sometimes, right? Getting finer, but yet they want to expand because their planet is Jupiter, the biggest
Uh-huh.
planet of expansion, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Like like for me, I like to be grounded since I have Taurus sun. So to me,
Hmm.
it's like stability, comfort, beauty. And I notice, yeah, they love to. I always thought they were cowards. Like if they leave like usually when I stay in a place, I stay there. You're committed to it. And what I like about Scorpio is like they like to get into the deep, dark nature of things. It's like an investigator. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They're definitely they have that dark triad, as we know from the manosphere. Black pill, red pill. They get into that. Uh, Investigating, yes, that's a good job for someone with a lot of Scorpio energy. Investigator, doctor, right? Because the doctor's investigating what the problem is, trying to find a
Oh yeah.
solution. But Scorpio likes to be like sneaky, so that's why they probably make a good like narcotics or vice agent, a police
Hmm.
officer, or private investigator. Yeah.
Or or a cult leader.
Yeah, 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 definitely,
Yeah.
man, definitely.
Yeah.
Cult, hopefully a cult of excellence. Yeah. Shout
Yes.
out to brother Jack Talcott. How's it going, my friend? How's it
Feeling
going, man?
blessed,
Yeah.
truly feeling blessed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm learning a lot from the conversations, what you're sharing.
Well, that's good. That's a good thing, man. That's I appreciate it. You learn and then you add. We keep building and building, and then if we have to, we can destroy a little bit and then build again. Yeah, something like that, right? Yeah.
There's a perfection to the unfoldment. Can I share some synchronicity that I found with you?
Let's do it.
Well,
Let's do it.
that was kind of my message within the last couple of days is trusting that the answers come at the right time. Everything happens at the right time. And listening to you, dude, I looked it up because I didn't know. I never paid attention to astrology, but
Hmm.
my son is a Scorpio. And if I'm not mistaken, my rising is Scorpio. And so
Oh,
what you're
oh, wow.
describing, man, dude, I projected all
That's probably why
sorts.
we like you.
I mean, yeah, I don't know why you get such a hard time. You just try to have your stream and everyone's just going after you,
Yeah.
but it's just
Uh,
like I'm a Scorpio moon, so it's just kind of funny to me. It's just
yeah.
like what's the big fucking deal?
Right. And by the way, this is my good friend Shift, brother Talcott. Shift, Jack.
Nice to meet you.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, I mean, I think I know a little bit of the Panelverse, but I heard some interesting things about it. But to be honest, like what me and Gabriel went through with the black pill fucking losers, it's like really nothing. I just look at the Panelverse. It's just kind of
Yeah.
funny. It's just like
Yeah.
normal people just just trying to make a like a comedy show. It's like a comedy show.
Yeah. Yeah. It is, man. The whack pack. But then it's like Jack is that like I was saying what tree? Is it an oak tree? The one that oh no, willow, that's it, the willow tree. Because the willow
Yeah.
tree is by the water and it's not as like like a solid per
Yeah.
se as the oak tree.
Yeah.
However, it bends and takes tremendous punishment from Mother Nature and her friends. Yet it's still there. It's still there years later. While everything else is just gone by the river. Yeah.
Strong and flowing. That's
Yeah.
what we're here to learn and to become.
Yeah.
Man, the stuff you're talking about, it makes so much sense. And I'd love to have you keep going with what you were talking about with the signs.
Yeah, thanks. Because I know some people will be like, "Oh, the Bible tells us we shouldn't do this about astrology and whatnot." Well, I'll say this, man. I'm talking about personality, man. I don't know about like what's gonna happen tomorrow or this. I'm not like doing what they call it a divination or anything like that. I'm trying to use a language that's out there to describe why people may act the way they do on default, so I can have a commonality. As a shift and I say, uncommon commonality, right? You know what I'm saying? It's a language, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. And if
yeah.
anything, it kind of correlates with the MBTI, even though the person that made it was kind of crazy. But mine's is like, I have Taurus, Sun, Scorpio, Moon. Very intense, very like, I think one of the descriptions is I'm very sober and very cynical about society, which I kind of am. So, but my MBTI, I'm an ENTJ, so it's like Napoleon complex, which is just kind of funny. It's just the willpower to keep going no matter what the obstacle is. I think that's when you kind of you take your Scorpios, like if they get too petty, then they're very weak, but the real
Mm-hmm.
ones are constantly always evolving. So and really are just they're managing things. Like most of them, they make great like finance people because
Mm-hmm.
they know kind of a sixth sense of people's psyche and psychology, so
Yeah, Schiff should know he's kind of like my baller friend, and he won't toot his own horn, but like he's kind of like balling out of control, but he's pretty humble with that finance stuff and life in
Beautiful.
general, doing good. Yeah.
yeah, it's
Beautiful.
Yeah.
yeah. But the one thing I learned is like once you understand how everything works with the finance, it's really disgusting. I'm actually really fucking disgusted at how these fucking slime balls like pretty much destroyed what America stood for. And I'm just like, how did people like 2009, they had that great crash. You probably like I was in high school at that time. But a lot of people lost their fucking jobs, and none of the people, none of those bankers or whatever, they went to jail. None of them,
Hmm.
none of them. It's like what the fuck,
They got more
and
money,
they're
right,
still
by the government.
they got more money. Yeah, it's just like it's kind of paradoxical in a way, but what can you do? It's like the more I learn about it, the more I'm just like, man, I'm kind of happy I don't work in finance, even though I know this stuff. But it's just it's really a disgusting field. I'm actually pretty disgusted.
Hmm.
So
Mm.
I started learning about some of that stuff, the corruption that was there. You said you were in high school. God bless. I'm feeling old.
I mean, I was like 17, and then I see Glenn Beck talking about, oh my God, it's over, and I'm like, what's going on here? Let me look at what the Fed is doing, and then I realized that was kind of like a bullshit conspiracy. And reality
Mm.
is, it's just like it's one big club, right? And they
Yeah.
protect they protect their tribe, if you know what I mean. And their buddies get away scot free. It's like the tribal, Wall Street, they have their own tribe, and then we as Main Street we get shitted on. So
Mm.
Dude, it's the truth. I never realized how corrupt things were until Well, until my life changed and I found time to look. And we're living at a time where people are putting together the pieces of the past. They're sharing the obvious corruption that's been going on. And that 2008, this stuff has been going on for generations since before we were born. People, the financiers, the money changers, manipulating the systems. And
Yeah.
Well, look at the
It's
people that are in their 30s right now. Like if you were born from 1983 to 1995, you're a part of what we call the Pluto in Scorpio generation. And when we talk about the planet Pluto, it's way out there, right, in the solar system, right? So it's like way out there. So it takes a long time for it to go around the sun. So we don't really talk when we talk about Pluto, we don't usually talk about like individual traits, but we talk about generational traits. So those people who were born in 1983 to 95, they have it was Pluto and Scorpio when they were born. So they have that generation, that whole generation. What's a generation, like 20 years?
yeah,
About 19 years.
yeah.
Yeah. So that those people who were born, they have that strong Scorpio energy of being having strong intuition, extremely passionate, but it comes off as dark and mysterious and hard to read. So you get these people like in their 30s, in late 20s that are kind of like those are the people on the forefront of finance and on lightweight and also entertainment, right? So we're seeing these themes of darkness and also too, like what you guys were saying, Pluto unearths the darkness that was trying to hide. So you got a lot of quote unquote truthers and whatnot, but the way this generation is going about it, it's kind of like they're not accessing their heart, or as Jack would say, their love.
yeah.
So they have the right tools. It's just like the style they do it is in this fucking like
It's all
nasty
over the
way.
fucking place.
It's all over the place.
It's all over. It's all over the place. It's not structured, and you don't know what's real or not because there's so much disinformation. So it gets very, very overwhelming, and that's the problem with like a shit ton of content, and your head is not clear, so you don't know who the fuck is saying right or whatever.
Right. Shout out to Illumitami. Welcome. How's it going?
What's up? Does this mic
Yeah.
work?
Yeah, it's clear. Nice and clear.
Sounds good.
It doesn't always work.
Yeah.
And this is also, I think, the internet will be on when I'm roofless. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But Shift, we're still watching 2008. They've been kicking the can down the road since 2008. They never took care of it.
Well,
so now that can is like an anvil right now.
Yeah.
Like in terms of living standards, like the general market prices and stuff, the general market will do fine, but society in general will suffer. Like if you look at government policy.
I still think the market's going to eat it because whenever I got into the market, it was the classic way, but now the market and crypto are all manipulated by algorithms controlled by the market makers that you trade on the market with and the hedge funds. And the way to make money is instead of reading the market classically, you just try to follow what the powers that shouldn't be are doing.
I mean, that's what a lot of people try to do. Like they try to look at Nancy Pelosi's fucking like stock positions and they try to copy her. Some can make a killing off that, but it requires like the best way is like kind of like comparing companies and really just picking a fucking winner and just sticking with it. Like,
well, yeah, if you pick a Tesla early, like that's what I did. I got into Tesla when everybody said it was a scam. You can always get in before the market realizes it's something good. But the Pelosi thing, all these politicians that have these bomb-ass investment records but still aren't retiring, it's obvious that what they're doing. They'll hold off a bill or a law long enough to invest, and then they'll pass it and watch something go up or down.
Yeah. A lot of those hedge funds, actually, they're really those ones on TV and stuff, they do a lot of manipulation on TV, and
Yeah.
they do a lot of insider trading because they're part of the fucking
hmm
tribe, and that's
And
how it is. It's like,
Jim Cramer is their tool they use. Like it's always the opposite of what he says.
This is what
Jim
Tommy.
Cramer.
This is what Shift has been telling me for like 3 years about this guy.
And then as soon as you're used to the opposite happening of what he says, they'll let him like nail it every now and then just to throw you off. But yeah, Jim Cramer's definitely a tool.
Yeah, it's a very interesting type of game because you really got to study con man psychology, and really a lot of these people are money worshippers. So what do money worshippers do? They want to screw the general public as much as possible.
And Elon has it right. The problem is naked shorting. Like anybody should be able to buy into a company, and if it does well, they make money. You shouldn't be allowed to use your money to suppress a company and put it out of business. And that's what shorting does. And if you short a company out of business, you get their patents and their stuff when they go out of business. It's horrible.
The thing is, it has its place, but shorts don't really make that much money because remember, they have to borrow and they have to pay interest on that. And a majority of people fucking lose money. It's like
right, and the problem is when the hedge funds are using all that government loaned liquidity to short, and then at the end of the day pay it back, the next day take a loan, short everything into the ground again. That's what's destroying half the market. I've been in the AMC squeeze for over 3 years at this point.
Oh man, good luck with that, man. It's like
it's gonna happen.
For me, I've been in Nvidia since like 2017. I've been sitting pretty, so that's my baby stock right there. I don't touch it, leave it alone.
Yep.
And honestly, I keep it simple with my investments with like Nvidia, AMD. I mean, I'm just in those and I'm good with it. The rest, I'm just in a market fund. I kind of just stopped doing active trading because it's just like a loser's game.
Oh yeah, I've never been an active trader. I've always been buy and hold, like long investments.
That's a lot better strategy, you know.
And I like. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, just to bring it back. We'll go on what you guys are, and the finance stuff is great, but some of the Scorpio traits are being emotional, but yet being honest. Do you think that plays into some of these moves you make? And doing your shot.
The key is to not be emotional.
Okay.
Yeah, the key is understanding your 7 deadly sins: greed, fear, pride. Being a sloth. That you really got to do an assessment and realize how much you don't know. And honestly, it's a lot of work. Like I don't think average people can really do it. You really got to be inquisitive. You kind of have to be a maniac. Like I'll be honest with you, it's not.
He's setting me up for it.
It's just honestly, you're just because you got to think about the time commitment that it requires, right?
Yeah.
And really, you have a short lifespan, so unless you're really passionate about it, but like I've been passionate about it since for 7 years, but even then I get fucking disgusted. Like I'm just like I need a break,
Well, I like Charlie Munger's advice that it is better to just have like a small portfolio of good companies than a whole span, because I took my turn trying out the just whole span of penny stocks and stuff. But to go with what you were just saying about how to be good, the best I've ever done in the market was I was homeless doing meth, so it was like I had all that time and I was just a monster in the charts and numbers and looking into due diligence. It was the best I ever did, and yeah, it is a different animal.
Yeah, but now,
so newbies shouldn't even get into it, or what? So you're unless you're completely serious,
I
blue chippers.
I just say I don't know if I can tell people that it'll ever go back to the classic style. Because if we're gonna have CBDCs and they're gonna be doing the what is it? The income, the what's the word for it? UB
UBI.
basic,
yeah,
yeah,
UBI.
universal basic income. If we're going into like a CBDC universal basic income, I think we're gonna go back to like a the nobles and the serfs type thing, only digitally.
Oh yeah,
Damn.
it's the banker's wet dream. You know, they want
It's
all
gonna
of
be the
us.
haves
They
and
want
have-nots.
yeah. They want to track your fucking expenses, what you pay for, so they can know, like they can sell to advertisers, and then they can
Hmm.
instantly know what the fuck you're gonna buy at this specific time, because people are clueless in terms of like how they feel, and that ties in with the Scorpio. If you don't have an intuition, like I believe like Scorpios in general have a high intuition, the ones that are in tune with themselves, to realize shit is fucked up, shit is really bad, and it's like
Yeah.
uncovering the darkness, you know. So
That's where I wanted to go with. You said those years were born under the Pluto and the Scorpion. Scorpio. When they become actualized, that love and loyalty and the courage that's available,
Mm-hmm.
man, that's our world is waiting for this. Everything is becoming aligned perfectly, from the planets to everything.
Right.
For
How are we gonna
mass
well,
activate it
control,
though?
though,
What's that, Tom?
it's all aligning for mass control, but I think people's best bet is to basic down. It's kind of a little bit of my ruthless endeavor. Like, I want to get back to like a minimalist basic thing, and I want to be comfortable without even a fucking roof, you know?
what
And I think that's the best bet against what's coming for us.
No,
I what I believe is like you kind of want to. What I realize is like the first step is to not view any mainstream media, alternative media, because the alternative media is just as bad as the mainstream. And then if you have a smartphone, get a flip phone. Honestly, the smartphone is like extremely dangerous. It makes you impulsive to make bad decisions, you know? So if you can
Yeah, for
eliminate
the
that, because
status quo, I'd say that, but
Mm-hmm.
I've got a grip on mine. Like I said, I used to do meth. I can walk away from it. I can set my phone down. I don't even take it with me when I leave the house. Um, but yeah, I know what you're saying. A lot of people are TikToked and Tinder headed.
there's another
yeah,
direction that's possible that I do think is happening, and that's a transformation, because the game, right, that insider game, and
Mm-hmm.
the bankers looking out for the bankers, this separation, it can be overcome. The only reason there's division and such limited, there's such a hierarchy in the powers with a few owners, it's because the masses have enabled it. We've been divided.
Right, but it's pretty much established. Like when we go into this digital currency, it's going to be the foothold that it's going to be a long time before you undo that.
Authority loses its power with oversight and transparency. And
No, it's
that's
transparency they're going to use for authority. Like I said, they're not going to take our Second Amendment right. Your money just won't work on it anymore.
well, right, because we've become dependent upon money. And that's
Well, it
foolish.
is a system, but that's what I was saying about people getting back to a basics level. Like you're always going to need money to an extent, but see how much you can do without it.
Well,
the,
we would be far more advanced, and all of us would be far more prosperous, far safer, if we didn't have wealth and authority
Why do you,
separating.
I
well, that's kind of like the libertarian type of thing. But the problem what I have with those type of people, you know, is that unfortunately, it's like supporting corporatism, kind of in a way, because it's like, oh, no laws, no anarchy. I mean, you kind of don't want to live back to the jungle days. That's complete,
No.
like,
Oh, no.
yeah,
And
it's
and
never gonna
on
happen. So,
and as a nod to money, you don't want to have to paint a fence every time you want a hamburger. Like you want
Right.
that store of
it
fluidity.
will require like a complete overhaul. Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
like you know how
Yeah.
why is our economies tied
Well,
to
it's
interest rates? You know what
they're
I'm
gonna
saying?
crash it,
Yeah,
and we're
so
going back to the gold. Whenever we go to a digital currency, it's gonna be the new gold standard. That's why BRICS is going to the same bridge currency that America will go to, but it'll look like they're competing.
BRICS is like a pimple on a buffalo's back. It's not gonna do shit. But
Well,
maybe
it's
in
going to
200,
destroy. It's going to destroy the dollar, and then we're going to go to the same digital currency that BRICS is using.
the dollar is pretty damn strong. We got nothing to worry about, honestly.
Yeah,
And
there's going to be a black
gold is the
swan.
sort. I mean, there's always the possibility. Doesn't mean it will. There's a lot of
No, they're
people still
going to
calling
do
for it.
it. We're just
I mean,
waiting
we'll
on it.
see. We'll
Listen, whenever
see.
you have the time, I've got this video called "Cleaning Up the Crypto Show," where I connect the founder of Ripple to a 1600s bloodline of bankers. It's like three
Oh yeah,
families that
yeah.
handed off between 1600s and now.
Well, I'm not surprised. I'm
But
not
that's
surprised
the
whatsoever.
coin. That's the digital coin that the whole world's currency will travel as, and all governments will lose power over their money when we switch to this. And that's what the black swan will do. Then they'll take all the market manipulation, the shorting, and they'll sweep it all under the rug when this happens.
Jack, is that the total reset? Is that what you were pointing at? There has to be, for what you said is going to happen. There has to be a complete like system breakdown, and
Yep, black swan.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's white swans, but in this day and age, it's gonna be a black swan. It's gonna be an African American swan.
A simple
African pill.
reform. A simple reform. Secrets are no longer legal because it's behind the secrets that the oppression and the wars, that's how they're profitable. Manipulation is education. If we don't do something, what Tommy is saying is right. It's going to go to a collapse and all of this financial crisis and further division, and it's all for the purposes of the few gaining more control.
Now, I will say
I
they
want to.
might.
I want to add. I want to add to that. Also, eliminating the interest rate economy, because just think about it.
Yeah,
They
that's what this
have
could
to.
do.
If they remove it, imagine an economy that's not leveraged up to the good. That's why America's in debt, because it has the world reserve currency. They can pay off their own debt. But if you remove interest, then really it'll be a different economy, and it won't require
Right.
people losing jobs and
No,
market crisis and all this other shit.
we are going to leave the debt-based economy, and also it's going to make anybody with a smartphone, they're going to be their own bank. This is pretty much going to destroy banks because you'll just be doing that. You'll be doing commerce as your entity. But like we said, your social security number, your identity will be tied to it.
What
Yeah,
picture was that?
I'll do the preview for Tommy's cross promotion right here. Here we go. For Tommy's show coming up is premiere.
Oh, that's in like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Not that I
that
don't want you
Paul
to
guy,
go or
right?
anything, but yeah.
That's
No,
the
that's
Paul
probably
Kinte,
guy.
should.
bro.
Oh,
Dave
No,
Chappelle.
okay.
it's Paulie
No.
Kinte.
It's a joke.
Kunta, Paul. I don't know. We'll work with it. It's Jack giving
thought it was
Paulie some
Paul.
lashings.
And Hank's laughing in the background.
Holy shit!
Is that Hank? Mine,
Yeah.
Jack.
That's
Oh,
Hank.
yeah,
Holy
that's Hank in the
shit.
back. Yeah, yeah.
Come on, Tom.
Hats
That's
off.
a
good.
re-upload.
Oh my
That's
god.
I
hilarious.
mean, I can't believe that Hank said that he was a gay witch. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what?
It's his truth, man.
What the?
Yeah,
It's
that's
his
how he
truth. Yeah.
came onto the scene.
Yeah. Yeah, but dude, I got to do that thing with those people And,
Yeah, I should probably go sit in the chat of my premiere, but
yeah.
you guys hit me up, and I'm tired of pissing Talcott off. Tell him that
Me
he
too.
can't just.
You
Well,
said me too.
NPC, take a shot at, after I'm gone, take a shot at, like, realistically. Like, you can't just say, hey, guys, let's just not fight. Let's just not be mean. You can't, Jack. There's too many agendas. There's 35 genders. People that have all the money they'll ever want now want power.
Okay. Here, let me do it my Scorpio way then. Jack and Tommy and everyone else in the panelverse, we need to address every single wrongdoing that's ever been committed.
Aquarius, vanish.
Wow, that actually was that wasn't actually too bad. Yeah, that was nice. I guess
there was no
like,
fire.
what is this, Switzerland over here, Jack?
I
Was that
think so.
Switzerland?
I think
That's
so.
neutral, right? No.
Yes, you
Although-
offered a safe space.
Same
Although
space,
to
yeah.
be, but here's the thing: like, you guys don't really know NPC the game, okay? If you cross with them, oh man, you guys don't. Yeah, you guys don't know anything.
Yeah,
So-
dude. Yeah, we've been in some digital battles. Me and my friend over here, Shift, bro. It's like,
Oh yeah.
yeah. I mean,
That is
that's the thing about
hilarious.
Scorpio too. For all, however open and deep and like the most loyal friend you can have, we have the capacity for darkness and raft.
Oh yeah, I remember we did like an attack on a full
Oh,
moon. I
man.
didn't even realize it.
Remember that?
It was
Yeah,
so
full moon.
it was so
Scorpio full moon.
bad to that person. Oh man, it was
Destroyed
complete
their
devastation.
career on the line. Yeah, he was warranted, I think.
It was, but the thing is, it was actually a prelude because it was kind of like a catalyst, and then next thing you know, that person destroyed himself. That's what
Right.
Scorpios are really good at. They make you destroy yourself in order to hopefully become a new person. Learn
Right,
your
that's
lesson.
That's the whole point when people talk about ego death and all that. That's what it. Look at the Scorpion. Let's look at the symbol. Look, Jock Talcott's rising. I'm a sun and shifts a moon. Scorpio. Look at the symbol, guys. The Scorpio is the only sign in the zodiac that has three different manifestations or upgrades. Kind of like Super Saiyan shit. The Scorpion on the level 1 Scorpion is one that's on the ground. Can be very petty. Like a Scorpion that's crawling around, right? You got to be careful with those Scorpios, the Scorpions, because they're their worst enemy too. Because if their pride and whatever is going on is so high that if they're backed in the corner and they're about to die, they take that tail that goes all the way over their head and they kill themselves rather than let another creature kill them. Now would you say that's a fucking control freak to the extreme, right?
Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
you can cause
So-
tremendous harm to yourself. Like I know.
Right.
I think they say the moon is debilitated in Scorpio.
It is.
Uh,
It is. Yeah.
I
can
never,
be, yeah.
to be honest, I noticed my emotions can be very intense, but I think as I got older, I'm just like, hey, is it really worth my time to act stupid upon this? Oh, this person said this, even though it's on my mind.
Yeah.
I kind of just let it go now. You know, it's just like you said, your sun sign takes over as you get older. So
Yeah, I would say like I feel you too, because what the hell is that music coming from? Oh, that's Tommy shit. Yeah, like I use my emotions now because I can tap into them. The Scorpio moon to my advantage. I kind of like I manufacture situations, healthy situations where I can use my deep, because I get super emotional Scorpio moon, right? So like for example, if I'm feeling nostalgic or something, thinking about my mom, I'll listen to some like Cat Stevens, again, what's his name, Gordon Lightfoot, try to type into to what she used to like, and I start bawling, I'll start crying, and it's like a refreshing, rather than using that emotional intensity I have, making it come out on a random traffic road rage incident. You know, so I try to I know what I have got going on, and I try to limit it to controlled situations, because you need emotional releasing. That's that Scorpio on the ground. Now the second version of Scorpio is the eagle. So we call him the Scorpio, but it becomes the eagle when you're able to, what you guys are doing, able to like zoom out of the ground level of the scorpion, like petty root chakra shit, and move out and see a bird's eye view of what's really going on, right? And the eagle is very solitary, right? It's a very solitary creature. The only time it links up with other beings is when it links up with other eagle brothers who are and sisters that are going the same direction, and they use their flight as, you know, the wind tunnel shit, like gliding together, right? That's when the eagle. That's what we're doing here, I would say, metaphorically.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. So they see it. So we're building together. We're zooming out the Scorpio, right? But the thing is, we got to be mindful of the fact that that eagle, if it starts getting too much into themselves and feeling themselves and getting into some like depression and woe is me type of stuff, they'll fall from their grace back down to earth, right? But sometimes we need that, right? And that leads you to the third level of Scorpio, which is the phoenix. The phoenix was the beautiful bird that crashed down to the ground and basically destroyed themselves. We call it in the manosphere getting zeroed out by your family, your friends, your job, you know? So you have to start from nothing. And the phoenix from the ashes literally burns itself into a beautiful cosmic being of light for God and everyone else. And that's the last level of Scorpio.
Yeah.
You know, so
I think some
something
people
like
are
that.
just afraid to acknowledge when they feel depressed or sad or whatever. But
Yeah.
really, it's just you got to work through them, especially as a man.
Right.
Unfortunately, a lot of young men, they suffer with this bullshit. You know, like oh, I'm not attractive enough or some other crap like that. I'm like, dude, you're a man.
Hmm.
Since when do looks really matter for a guy? Like, honestly, it's about what you do and who you are. That's really it comes down to it. And unfortunately, a lot of people try to poo-poo that, but really, it's that simple. It's like what you do, and like if you're in your home all day, just arguing with people or arguing about useless theories, you're not getting anything done. What are you really doing? And what I recommend is like anyone down in the dumps, like start moving.
Yeah,
Go for a
you need to
walk.
do that. Touch
Yeah,
grass.
yeah, touch grass. Like go for a walk. Clear your mind. Start doing like basic stuff like that. So at least you could try to think like how to improve your life. So
Yeah, that's beautiful. Because you start doing with what Jack's stream was earlier, finding relevance, right, Jack? You
Mhm.
start in relevance. What's relevance? It's the quality of being connected or doing what's appropriate. And this is what Jack is teaching people. We all are in our own way, how to be civilized and appropriate. I think that's a big thing about it. I see. That's what I get from what you shared, Jack,
Thank
especially
you.
today. Yeah,
It
yeah,
is damn important. Hey, your descriptions of the Scorpio, dude, it is beautiful.
yeah.
If if that is right for me with the rising, and I think
Hmm.
that's what it is, dude, that describes me, my self-sabotage. I
Hmm.
destroyed myself to be right, and I watched my son do the same fucking thing.
Hmm.
You know, the sins of the father, they'll be passed down if we don't do the work and heal. And
Getting the chills, bro. Cause I'm taking this in, bro. Because like you're a model. Because that's all I talk about, right? Shift. My son, how much I love my son's a Scorpio rising too, like Jack.
mm,
It's important to me. So hearing these things, this is gift, man. You're able to do that, bro, because you're kind of like hitting the hyperlink for me. You're like a hyperlink. Like, okay, Jack went through this. Maybe I don't have to go through it per se, but I can learn from what he's sharing and stuff, his experiences.
those who could learn from other people
Right.
is a wise man. So
That's right.
that's what I would, yep. And that is my hope. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, but I've learned a lot of lessons. And if I can help anyone avoid some of the damages I caused or could have caused. Well, I think that's what we're all here to do, is to help each other learn from our mistakes.
Yeah.
And
My
bless.
son.
You're being
Go ahead.
accountable, which is an admirable trait. Being
right.
being accountable to your actions.
Right, having integrity. Yeah. My son's chart is the direct opposite is mine, so I really get an inside look out of myself because his rising sign is Scorpio. My sun sign is Scorpio. My rising sign is Taurus. His sun sign is Taurus. So it's like you see that feedback? That's like God really blessed me in having that, making it so simple, yet it could be hard if you're not paying attention. You know, we're opposites on paper, but we're really so much alike. It's just that we do things backwards. And if we can realize that, dude, there's no telling what we could do together.
Dude, that's amazing.
Yeah.
With me, it's like my rising is Libra, which is about balance with the scales, right? Because you got the beautiful sun of Taurus that loves beauty, you know, unless it's mad or whatever. But usually Taurus don't get mad, you know, whatever. And then you got Scorpio in the moon, which is like I may look normal and happy, but deep inside I may have like frustration or fucking rageful, vengeful thoughts. But over time, you start to develop like kind of. I noticed that in my life where it was very chaotic in the beginning. You know, trying to climb your way, make a name for yourself. Then as you get older, you realize balance is what you need, and it's kind of fitting. Like, yeah, and I noticed that balance, moderation. I could go to extremes of something, but what happens is that I get so focused and dedicated to that I lose sight of what is truly important, which is being a human and experiencing this beautiful world. So
that's your Venus, bro, because your rising sign Libra and Taurus, your sun, they share the same planet, Venus. So that I definitely see that in you, bro. Your aesthetics, bro. That's what Plato, he said. I think it was Plato. He said the way to find the truth, one way to find the truth is look at beauty, right? Not just superficial beauty, but real beauty, inside and out. You know. Yeah. Yeah. Jack, what's your sun sign, bro? Is it Leo?
It is. Yes.
Look at that, bro. I knew it. I knew it. The king. Yeah, Leo the king. The funny thing is about that Leo, the way I see it is in a weird way, they're one of the most generous because when they're the balanced and the righteous king, they want what's best for the quote unquote subjects, their people. And the opposite of Leo sign is Aquarius, which is the people, basically the collective, right? And you see how a good Leo has a good hold on the people, and a good Aquarius has a good hold on the king, their ego, you know. And it's funny, like you and Tommy go at it and stuff, but you guys are alike because he's an Aquarius and you're a Leo. You're the opposite signs. Think of how this plays out, bro. You're the opposite.
Funny.
Yeah, you're the opposite signs. However, you guys are kind of doing similar stuff. And no disrespect to Kami, he's gonna say, "Don't compare." I don't know, whatever. Right. I love you both. You're both my good friends, right? And so like Aquarius and Leo are doing the same thing. It's just that they have different styles of doing it. They're on the same line, the same spectrum. They're just the polarities. How do we learn about something in the middle? We learn about the polarities, right? The extremes, and kind of meet in the middle. And that's what's going on right here in front of our eyes.
Dude, see, God, everything is divine and perfect. And your awareness, dude, having your sun with the opposite of you, and you have the awareness to notice and to pay attention. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's an incredible gift. And I'm imagining my son, a Scorpio, when he's not broken, when he's healed, the Phoenix, man.
It's gonna be amazing, bro.
Oh man,
you see it?
Yeah,
you already see it. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Scorpios are not that bad. The
Yeah.
ones I don't get along with is Sagittarius because this is my personal preference. They're all over the place. But I'm supposed to not be I think with Taurus you're not supposed to get along well with a Gemini, but I
It's
get
too
along
close.
with them
That's
pretty
why
well. Yeah,
they say the
because
signs
my
that are like right next to each other, they're
Mhm.
too much alike. So that's why sometimes there's friction between like a Leo and a Virgo, or a Leo and a Cancer. Whereas a Leo and what's the next one? Libra can get along pretty good because there's a little buffer. But we don't. But these are generalizations too. Doesn't mean there's no exceptions to the rule. So go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, it's like my Venus is in Gemini, so it's like I guess I could understand them. Like they're very talkative, very social.
Hmm.
For me, it depends. It depends. It depends on my mood. There's other times I could be life of the party. Other times I'm just like, get the fuck out of my face. I don't want to talk to nobody. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that Venus is supposed. Each planet represents a part of your life, and the Venus represents how you want to be loved and how you love people. So your version of it in generalization is as a Gemini style, which, and Geminis are about novelty, new things, and the grass is always greener on the other side type of stuff, right? So you can maybe go through your love. You could be the dude on the Tinder if you were on that, like to be
I
swiping
mean,
like left
I
and right,
was, I
like back
was
left and
that.
right, yeah.
Yeah, now I'm married. I don't do
Some
that
Julio
stuff anymore.
Iglesias stuff going on. But yeah, now he's married.
Yeah,
Ashala, yeah. Praise be to Allah for
yeah,
sure for that. Yeah,
yeah. Like
yeah,
I'm glad I'm done with that. Like honestly, it was just it's nice just to be with one person. I know a lot of guys they kind of hate marriage nowadays, but for me, I always wanted to be a father, so it's like it's just another thing for me. I'm pretty happy. So
that's good, man. I wish you the best. You're gonna be great. You're already
thank you.
doing great. Yeah. I wonder, Jack, what's your moon? I wonder. I bet you it's Cancer. Maybe it's Cancer or something like that, because usually people have rising sign Scorpio, the Cancer moon. I don't know. Do you know that?
I
You have to look it up, huh?
oh wait, yeah, I've got a chart. I don't know it. The moon,
Yeah.
Virgo, I think.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, that's cool because that's Virgo is very analytical. We're in Virgo season right now. Very analytical. Think of them as the engineers of the zodiac, and like
Mm,
they're very critical thinking. They look at things like the actually they kind of micro analyze things. That's why they make good engineers, and they can be seen as the kind of compulsive disorder, if not unbalanced, right?
right.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's a good thing. This is why some of the best comedians are Virgo sun signs, like Dave Chappelle, Cat Williams, because they pick apart. They're able to pick apart, all the critical things, right? They
I
do it in a
noticed
funny
that.
way.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
they're
Virgo
very
energy is crazy.
like almost too structured, where it's
Right,
like, oh, we got to
right.
do this at this time, at this time. I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
we'll do it at this time, but take it easy. It's
Yeah,
like,
well, that's when they probably need to balance out with the polarization of Virgo is Pisces, which is the last sign. So if you think of
ah,
if you think of Virgo as the micromanage, like micro analyze things to attention to detail, um, Pisces is the leave detail to the wind. It's all about the big picture. We're all one, man. Like who needs it? They're the God, as they say, the God consciousness, because they realize we're an ocean of consciousness. Why are you getting all in your ego and stuff when we're all one? But I mean, that's great to think like that, but in this 3D reality world, you can't always be like that. You got to get organized. You can't be like unbalanced or sloppy with your
well,
awareness. So they help each
that's
other out. Yeah.
that's interesting. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like Pisces, that's my sister. Very
Yeah.
dreamy, very dreamy. Um, well, what would you say Scorpio would be in the Chinese zodiac?
Probably snake like mine
Yeah, that makes
with my
sense.
which I'm call it, which is next year. Yeah, one year the dragon, and next year's year the snake. So I would say snake because that the insect of the scorpion and the snake have that reptilian consciousness. As we know, the reptilian
Mhm.
brain literally moves the world in some
Yeah.
sense, right? Now you're gonna
Mine's.
use it for good or bad. That's the question, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
me, I'm the goat. So I just like
The
peace.
goat.
I like money, and
Hmm.
I like harmony, which is kind of true. I kind of don't like to argue, honestly, but I can, but it's kind of like you get kind of like a sick feeling kind of after. It's like, shit, I went a little too overboard, you know?
Yeah, yeah. The goat is kind of like I would say that's kind of like a well, the ox they say is Taurus, but the goat is more chill than a bull. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Who?
ox is the ox. I think the biggest thing is like physical characteristics. Yeah,
Hmm.
like while the goat, like you get injuries, like and that has happened to me basically when I was lifting hard. Because Taurus, we love physical activity.
For
But
sure.
unfortunately, in my life, I had injuries. I broken my ankle. I tore my
Uh-huh.
shoulder. I had herniated discs in my back. I'm like, it's just a very fragile body. It sucks.
Well, the Taurus is supposed to be the most sturdy. They're the mogger,
Yeah.
the male alpha of the group, like the Hercules dude, the Hulk, man. But
I
maybe
think,
there's the other parts of your chart because Aries. If you count about injuries, Aries are synonymous with injuries a lot because their planet is Mars, and Mars can
uh,
be impulsive and warlike and super passionate, right? And when you have those traits
yeah,
that they're not balanced or checked, you lead yourself into opportunities with injuries can happen, if you're not careful. So
pretty much.
yeah, maybe I think you
Yeah.
have Mercury in Aries. I think when we looked at your chart, like shadow.
I,
Yeah,
yeah, I have
right.
Mercury in Aries, so
There you
I'm
go,
quick
bro.
on my feet. I'm quick on action.
Yeah,
Um, but in the follow through.
yeah,
But in terms of Mars, I have Cancer, so it's definitely another instability. So
yeah.
usually when astrologers see my chart, they're like, "Holy shit, you could be a basket case, but you're normal."
You could, yeah. That's because we transcend that stuff. The astrology's fun and it helps us relate to people and understand people. Because if it wasn't for astrology, I'd probably wig out more and not give people the patience that they deserve sometimes because
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, that's why they act like that. Okay. My way. Even if it is bullshit, BS, like the Taurus bullshit, get it? Like, even if it is
Yeah.
bullshit, it's a template to use that it's real enough if you
Yeah.
put it up against something, right? That we can't see, right?
It's just another way of like kind of telling about yourself and from a third
Yeah.
party. There's like the MBTI. It has like the same thing. People are just curious what other people think of them. So
Yeah. And look at Jack, bro. Like he literally has the Leo like vibes. Uh, like he has the hair, the long hair like a lion's mane.
Yeah.
Call him Lino, right?
yeah,
And then like literally the love right there, like, and that's the sun. The sun just gives. It gives without really asking. It's
Mhm.
just it's just happy if you acknowledge them though every now and then, you know. And
Yeah.
think about
Leos
this,
love that. Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Right. And if you have a good Leo friend, if you're a good Leo friend, it's not that you're beta or whatever, but you need to give them that acknowledgement and remind them how awesome they are sometimes, right? Right?
Yep.
Because yeah, because look at the sun. Look at all the other planets revolve around the sun. They
Mhm.
revolve around the sun, right? And this is what happens. Talcott's channel. Everyone's evolving around Jack. Everyone's evolving. And now is he gonna pull you in and let you come in and honor speaking with them? Well, it's up to the Sun King.
Dude,
Who knows? Yeah.
I burned
and
some
what?
people's egos. They
I
get
see
they
that,
get
man.
fueled by rage, man.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Hey,
Yeah, it's
speaking
really
of,
funny when they do that. So
yeah.
it's really funny.
well, everything is unfolding perfectly, and I've got to give it up. I know I'm not alone. You sharing your grasp on this. You do have such a grasp on the signs and the personalities. And you were able to be Switzerland, your land of neutral ground, with my opposite.
Your opposite polarization. That's so crazy. That
You gotta remember this, Jack. We're veterans of any type of panels. All right, like we're veterans. We
Yeah.
dealt through some very, very like I think it's worse than any type of panel verse. I mean, I know that they got some characters. You know, some guy calls everybody pedos and shit. I'm like, I
the
mean, you guys are
snafu,
just.
yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
what's wrong with it? It's like some of these people have mental disorders. It's like,
Yeah.
man, you know.
But I don't know, bro. Like it's pretty bad though. Shift, because this motherfucker's the one that introduced me to the panelverse. Let's get it. Shift. Shift.
Oh,
The
yeah,
one he said,
yeah.
like, check out, like, I've been hanging out in Base to Oracle. That was back in the day. Okay, I'll check it out. Who's an Aquarius? It's funny he admitted that the other day. I was like, holy shit, that's funny. That makes sense. Like, so
Yeah.
like that's how I found all you guys, through Shift and Base to Oracle and Machine. Right?
The
Like,
only
so
one, the only one I kind of just didn't like per se was like the guy is just off on my radar. Is flow state. Flow state is off.
Oh.
Something's yeah. The guy is just like I don't know. Something's not right with his head. Like that's my opinion.
Oh man, Flow State. Shout out
Dude,
to Flow State. He's a hub too.
these
Not the Pornhub.
right? These characters online, though, you could not make this up.
I know, it's fucking
You couldn't
classic.
cast this.
Yeah, and then you got guys like Speakeasy. I call him Speak Retard. Like, can
Oh,
anyone
okay.
take this guy seriously? Can anyone take him seriously? Just look at him. Like
I
I'm
think he's a
like,
Taurus shit. That'd be funny. I think he is.
but he's in Toronto, so he's like a weak.
Okay.
He's like a weak little baby calf. You know.
Oh shit! I'm trying to get him on here one day. But yeah, for real. Yeah, Speakeasy. Can you refute that? Come by, bro. Come by. Let's see what you have to say about that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but the Leo and the Virgo, that's an interesting mix you got, Jack. The Leo Virgo and also the Scorpio rising. But and my thing is, like, I see the Scorpios don't give up; they get obsessed. So your style being a Leo Scorpio style, so your style of being generous like a Leo is going to be obsessed with integrating that relationship with your son and just being what it's supposed to be. And with him, that's his core being, is a desire, and who wouldn't want the desire to be with dad, especially a cool dad like you. So I see good things already, so I'm happy for you guys.
Well,
Jack
so
just
far,
wants. Yeah, Jack just only wants love with everybody. That's pretty much it.
yeah.
It's plain and simple.
But I've been I don't know, a reflection. Like you were describing, it might be with Scorpios that they get a lot of people reflecting their behavior or projecting themselves on.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, that's been my path. And we're living at a time that's kind of unique. My son is still he's fractured. He's broken. I don't know. Actually, I don't know where he's at. But the fact that he's been away from me for so long, dude, his devotion was undeniable. But his stubbornness, man, I don't know. He got in his head wrong ideas about me and I know the world because I taught my son wrong. I don't know. I trust we're a part of something pretty amazing. And it wasn't until my son was out of my life that I really found God and found faith. And so this story, man, my own life, dude, my own life is going to be a story for the history books. And you guys are a fun part of today. I truly appreciate it.
Thanks for letting us be part of it. Like part of the mythical narrative, your mythical narrative, and our mythical meta narrative. All of us together. Yeah,
It's crazy
That's
the
crazy.
number of stories that have evolved here through the relationships and the lore. Man, there
The
are so
lore,
many.
yes.
There's so much value that could be clipped out and put together. And holy cows. It's no
Yeah.
wonder that God created all this. It's got to be pretty entertaining once you're not part of it.
No, absolutely. That's like actually my next vlog. I'm talking about that. Like my friend Sean, I got some video from when we did the Occupy SF in San Francisco back in the day. We camped out at the Federal Reserve, and he's my Nigerian friend. I think he's a Leo too. Like he was going off and like how God's basically up here watching us, like he's watching reality shows, and it's just like all the narratives, and you're right, it's ridiculous. And you bringing up your son and in your relationship remind me of my little brother, and she's probably heard me talk about it. It's like the one thing that it's like I have a really good life, and but that's the one thing I miss so bad is my relationship with my little brother Jordan, who's a Sag. Yeah, like and like when my mother passed away when he was 13 and I was 23, it kind of like broke our relationship, and I think a lot of things got people got in his head about me maybe, and
Mhm.
then I was doing my thing, and I've been wanting to mend the relationship for the last 10 plus years, but he's not budging,
Mhm.
and yet
That's
it's wild because he when it was good it was great, and
Mhm.
I miss that, but I just want to, even if he doesn't want to be with me, which would hurt me, I want him to let us know that he's an uncle. You know, he has a
Mhm.
sister-in-law. That's great, but we shall see, man. I need to get out of here. I'm getting too emotional now. I gotta.
It's gonna get
Holy cow, man! Oh man, woo.
There's
Okay,
healing to
okay,
be
okay,
found.
okay. Yeah,
Hey, there's healing to be found. You're certainly feeling that, and I can understand that. But there's life's not done for sure, and having the healing within you, trust that the healing will be found within him, and there will be a day where you guys unite, celebrate the fact that he's an uncle and everything's coming together. Everything's possible.
I mean,
And we,
I would give any day just to see my grandmother again.
mm,
When she died in 2022, that's when I hit rock bottom in terms of like, it's like, man, and the biggest thing she said, I just wish you were more happy with yourself. She told me
mm,
that. And I was just like, that kind of really hit me because I was like, man, what am I doing? I gotta restructure this. And she's right. Like I'm just like too super critical, you know. And but she
yeah,
died of cancer. You know, cancer really sucks. You know, it's just but
yeah,
she didn't die in pain. But it's still like you know, she always wanted me to get married and stuff, and she couldn't live to see that day. So it's still think about her all the time. So
yeah. Yeah, and in that weird way that they kind of are with us now, when that they're not in the physical. Now they can be with us all the time.
yep.
You know. Yeah.
That's the thing about love. It goes beyond space. It goes beyond time. When
Hmm.
we can appreciate the love of those who we love and those who loved us, they're eternally in our hearts. And with that awareness, the relationship can be as close as we want.
Absolutely.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. And sometimes you know, people just grow apart, but you just wish the best for them.
Right.
There's not much you could really do. And if they come back, then you could reconnect, and hopefully it's at a better space. But at the same time, when some people don't want to be found or don't want to talk, not much you could really do. You know, so
Except respect it, I guess, right? And still
yeah,
hold the door open, right? Yeah.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah, that's a good. You guys, I'm happy. I got some good friends now. I got some good friends, man. Yeah,
Is a reflection of you. It's
appreciate it.
hey, this life is, it can be challenging, and the heartaches are real. The
Yeah,
disappointment is real, the pain is real, but life is also short. And
yes, sir.
living with regret and with hate or resentment, it's no way to live.
Yeah,
I
Yes.
truly think, I know my faith in God is at a place I never even conceived, never, never considered. But I believe the words are true that God uses all of us for a greater purpose. And my life, man, it's got a lot of similarities to different biblical stories. My life is very similar to many, many others. But I think everything is aligned for my life to become like a comeback story.
right.
After going through the periods of loss and having faith and positivity, dude,
Yeah,
who knows?
it's gonna shoot you to the stratosphere because that's what that metaphor of the phoenix. All the negativity is the ashes and the feathers that the eagle crashed to the ground from its hubris, and then it's gonna be used as kindling
Yeah,
rocket fuel to shoot you up as that phoenix to the next level, man. And the
dude.
comment from Look Within, he said, "Damn, that was some real shit, Jack. Reflection of you, indeed. Respect, respect. Yeah, absolutely, Jack. You're like the closest thing to my pastor now lately, bro. Appreciate you. I haven't lost it like that in a minute, man. Especially on air. I don't think I ever done that shit. But yeah, man.
Like,
Thanks for
It's
being there
yeah.
and recognizing that.
You could always learn something from somebody. But the biggest thing is to learn from people that are also older than you because they've been
Mm-hmm.
through so much, you know, and they can actually give you pointers of like how you should live your life also because you don't really enjoy the beauty of life until you get older and you realize what you have done and what you could have done something better. And that's where usually some people, when they get older and they're in deathbed, they start realizing, so this is how the world is. I could have lived it a lot better. I wish I did this. I wish I did that. And but the thing is also, it's like you should never live with regrets anyway, because you know it's just life. You know, sometimes things don't go your way, but it's how you respond to that is what really matters. You know, if you turn petty and just vengeful, then that doesn't solve anything. That's not really getting anything done per se. You know, it's not fixing anything, or really, it's all about like, oh, this happened. I did the
Yeah,
best I can. I'm human. I'm gonna live my life better. I'm gonna learn from that mistake. So,
absolutely. Learn to live with it. That's like Jay Z. My favorite album of his is his first, which is crazy. A lot of artists are like that. Their first album's their best. He said in that song "Regrets," he said, "This is the number one rule for your set. In order to survive, you gotta learn to live with regrets. On the rise to the top, many drop. Don't forget. In order to survive, I'll add and thrive. You gotta learn to live with regrets, man. Definitely, Shift. You got that, bro. Yeah."
yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Onco 24/7 in the chat. I miss you, brother. I love you. Come talk to me, bruh. Hit me up on the line on the IG or come up on the stream. Appreciate you and your art. Let's Jack and Shift and and Tommy and everyone else that came up, Special K and Shadow and Look Within. Appreciate you. Clump. Ezra, Mindful Exposures came by, and all the ninja washers in the back. we see you, man. I appreciate you guys coming by. Let's do this again sometime soon. Right?
Respect. Hey,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you sincerely. These conversations fill me with hope, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot. It brought up a lot of memories, and I have so much faith for my future because I finally discovered love, and I know that that is what our world is lacking. And you guys are sharing much love. Peace to you. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. All right, brother Talta. We love you, bro.
Peace, Jack. Peace.
Yeah. Damn, Shift. Look at this. Look at us.
This is a Scorpio. This is a Scorpio conversation. You know, it's a lot of people. They're superficial. They don't want to hear this shit. They're like, who's the next one? Who's the next one's gonna attack this person? Blah blah blah. You know, it's like, oh come on, man. It's like, who cares?
to be honest, when people see us, they really don't attack us because it's like, oh, that's not gonna work. These guys have already been through shit. We don't get.
I mean,
we don't really get that much.
It's like, I mean, we could easily call it out. You know, it's like, you know, it's like, oh, you're just doing this. You're just gaslighting. Okay, it's like, I'm like, what are you trying to aim? You're trying to make us dance or something? You want a quarter? You know? I still remember that. I remember that stream when David said to Solo,
"Oh yeah.
Do you need a sandwich? You need a quarter?
You need a sandwich or something? You need a sandwich or something?" David in his Queensbridge accent. Linda, you need a sandwich? God. Come on, bruh.
I mean, I still remember that stream. I laughed so fucking hard. Like, just hearing that, it's like, I never, like, hearing a person get so angry on something so petty, you can't help but laugh, you know?
Yeah, it's all petty, man.
Yeah.
Even the things like are like that touch you to the core of your heart, in the end, even those things are petty. Because it's like,
well, I think differently. I think it's just like it's being. I think it's being real when you're being.
I'd say they're less petty though. It's less petty than. But even I'm trying to make a point in the sense that like even those things, like when I'm talking about my brother, that's petty shit too. Because in the end, it's like, bro, as long as you love somebody and you're honest about it, everything will happen the way it's supposed to happen. Don't get me wrong. Don't be a dummy and leave yourself open to being hurt physically. But even then, it's like life is simple, but it's portrayed as complex. You know. Yeah. I see what you mean though. But you're trying to go ahead and say what you're gonna say. But yeah.
Yeah, it's reality is. I think. It's like when you uncover certain things, you realize when you realize the real problem, you realize how simple it is, how to fix it.
There you go.
But then there's the complexity of it, because most people don't have that perception that they could fix it. So that's the problem.
Well, yeah, that's why like Seven Beaumont talked about this before. It's like there's the Buddhist monk that's meditating in Tibet right now on the mountains for an unconditional love of all sentient beings in the universe, not 24/7. They're doing that right now. Yet in the end, they may long for having a relationship with their family and not being in a monastery. Or the lessons they can learn by having a wife and children. You know what I mean? Because it's like, you can go and isolate yourself, or be even the opposite, be like a incel doomer piece of shit, be in your computer all day, not go outside, right? But you're isolating it. The real magic happens, the real evolution happens on high speed is when you interact with people, right?
Pretty much. Yeah,
and that's the hard, what you said, like the hard part it can be hard, right? When something's so simple at its core, but when you add another person into it, it becomes a whole new beast, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think it comes down to this is that people just don't want to develop good judgment. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like who to be with, who's really there for you, and who is really not.
Mm.
And that's what the Scorpio mind is able instinctively is
To
able
see,
to
yeah.
pick up on it. But the basic Scorpio doesn't really like analyze or systematize that, where they could keep themselves out of harm's way. Instead, they go into that darkness and get addicted to it, and that's where you can get all the drama and all the bad reputation. But
Right.
it's just it. But in reality, it's kind of like they have to go through that phase because it's you constantly destroy yourself to make someone new. Like when I
Mm-hmm.
look at myself when I was 18 till now, I'm a completely different person. 18, I was
Mm.
timid. I was poor. Like I was happy, but it was just like
Mm-hmm.
it was hard to get around. Like I had no fucking money, no job, nothing.
Yeah.
And really, it's just like all I had was like school and family. And but then I thought like, oh, once I had this money, my life was set. But really, it was just beginning. It was just beginning. Like, and then and really that pursuit of external objects, it's never ending, and it comes with those seven deadly sins. The greed can be an absolute killer to people, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah.
Yeah, pride and the wrong way, and being a sloth, it's just I think some people just like they get so consumed on searching for the truth, but really the truth is just right in front of you,
Yeah, the
nature.
truth is it's calibrating those things you just mentioned of greed and slothfulness and pride. What you do is just like we're talking about polarization in astrology, find the opposite of greed. Find the opposite of gluttony and pridefulness, and then calibrate yourself to get back to the middle ground, or even more so towards the positive, right? And that's simple.
Hmm.
It's not sexy, but it's real. That's real spirituality to me, bro.
Yeah.
That's where the real work's at, man.
And also, it's like, if you notice, like society always encourages hyper positivity to the point of your
Yeah.
detriment. When reality is like sometimes life is not about being positive. It's about you need to have that level of critical thinking where you realize you fucked up. That's like kind of negative, but it's a good type of negative where
Hmm.
you own up to your mistakes and you fix that and you correct it. That's the biggest thing, and that needs to happen in order for you to grow. Or like you take a certain course or a certain thing in school, and it's so fucking hard. But reality, that's where the major growth is happening because you're putting yourself in that situation where you can do the most amount of growth and evolve as a person. And unfortunately, the younger, like I see it, Gen Z, Gen Alpha,
Hmm.
they just want to be handed things impulsively. They think they just deserve things, and I'm like, that's not
Well,
that's not how life is. You don't deserve anything unless you earn it. So
right.
you have to
Well,
prove it.
that's because their parents most likely are doing that. They're handing them literally the tablet, and
Yeah,
that's why they deserve that. That's just why we got to be honest about it as elders and parents and be like, they're just doing what we are leading them. Don't get me wrong; they make the choices, but let's put them in a situation for success instead of
yeah,
detriment. Because I see it like that's a beautiful thing about having a 6 year old is like I'm tapped into the streets. You could say what's going on. I have an excuse to look on. And bro, I have to admit, to be honest, it's easy to get tapped. As an adult, it's easy to get mesmerized by some of this brain rot content. So just think about how they feel about it, how they're hitting
yes.
their mind. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
The
So let
biggest
me get.
thing,
Oh, go ahead.
the biggest thing is just to teach moderation,
All right.
or if it's but. another thing is like what you do. You make your son go through marathons and be
Yeah,
physically active. That's
triathlons.
very
He's done 8 already.
triathlons.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
places in almost
and
all of them.
and
Yeah.
he's a Taurus son, so him being
Hmm.
physically active, that's what he needs the most. I remember as a kid, I played soccer. In New York, we had handball. I was
Hmm.
very, very competitive about handball. It was just like I played it 5 hours a day. I mean, that was my outlet. That was my outlet.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it shaped you. It was like your crucible, the real crucible. Shout
oh
out
yeah,
not
the
to
guy,
the Andrew Wilson. No, shout out to the Balkan crucibles and Vlad and his
Vulcan.
clan.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
don't need to learn any debates, or buy a course for debating. I mean, I'm just like kind of laughing like, what are you going to use that shit for? You're going to debate
To
normal people? Like,
what
what the
to
fuck?
flex on in the panel verse, bro. That's what it's at. Get that hundred
So you
bucks
pay the
at Bloodsport. Yeah.
I mean, you just call someone names, you refuse to listen to them, and then, you said my way
Dirty
or the
debating,
highway.
bro. You know.
Yeah, become a cult leader, and then
Yeah,
that's it.
exactly.
That's that's $0. I taught you the ways of how to be
Yeah.
a a cult leader panelverse a
Yeah.
person.
And if you really want to pay somebody, you can hit shift up and myself at our membership for our joint project of Tom Vu, how to win your neighbor over 3.0 course that we're the franchisees of. Okay, hit us up if
Yeah,
you really want to pay somebody. We can
yeah.
recycle that.
The Tom Vu and what's the other
Uh,
guy? What's the other guy? Robert Kiyosaki
Maybe
special.
Kawasaki, Tony Powers, all that.
but
Yeah.
did you see that video where Mike talked about Tony Robbins and he put his wife on the ad? I was like, damn.
uh,
I was like, Tony Robbins. What the fuck happened to this guy? Because he got sued. He got sued because
huh. He put his
he
wife on
made
it.
people. Well, what he's saying is like how he loves his wife, but really it's his third wife,
Oh, I
and
see.
he's trying to whitewash his image because a lot of
Hmm.
people sued him because he made people walk through
Yeah, I remember
burning
the
coal
fire.
and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like come on, like you. How are people that stupid to pay a guy $5,000 just to make them scream and feel good? It's like what? Like
You know the
I don't
answer
know.
to that. You know,
Yeah,
you and I know. You know why.
I
We've
know.
been trained. We know
We've
why.
been trained. I'll be
Yeah,
honest.
we know.
It was
Yeah,
interesting in learning how marketers do
yeah,
certain things, but I'm just like, I'm like, at the same time, I'm just like kind of disgusted. I'm like, fuck this,
yeah.
man. Yeah.
Oh shit, we're gonna have to do a stream about it. Let's talk.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh
Let's
yeah,
talk.
yeah. That'll be a great
Yeah,
conversation that a lot
yeah.
of people. I'm pretty sure the panel verse is gonna get some lessons and they're gonna try to copy, and it's just gonna be fucking funny to see that. So.
Yeah. It was a shout out to Shadow Buddha. He said, "Can you ask Shiv his thoughts on paying for a life coach?" Yeah, because we know some
You
people
don't
that
need,
paid for a life coach recently, a lot of money.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, it's like paying for a Tony Robbins wannabe. So
yeah.
it's like, and Tony Robbins is a con man. It's like most of those people. I'll give them a structure here. Take care of your body, take care of
Hmm.
your emotions, take care of your money, take care of your environment, people around you, your relationship, your ideas. What are the things you like? What are the things you dislike? What is your extreme opinion about it? What's your philosophy on it? There you go. That's a
Look at
nice
this.
system you could follow.
I'm sorry, that was great advice. I'm listening to. I'm going to rewind it and pin it. But look at as you speak. Look at Brother Jackson. I went to
I
Tony
went to
Robinson's event and walked over Rockles. Oh shit! Is
yeah,
he going to sue him?
and the person
The
paid
fire.
$8,000 for that.
Yeah.
If people pay $8,000 for that type of scamming, I'm like, but I think it's like
But here's the
you got
thing,
to
bro.
look at
Like they could pay 10. Go ahead. Now let me go. Let me go quick. Like, bro, yes, that's ridiculous. That's insane. Maybe people say even look stupid. But let's say it's the catalyst. It's a catalyst for somebody. What are you gonna do? What if you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Good for them. What do they say in
yeah,
Italian? What's all for good? No, that's a bad word, I think. Anyway, but like, what if that's what they want to do, man? And it helped them.
but
I'm like, okay, go for it. Salute.
I
God
mean,
bless.
you can just if you really want to get his, I mean, you could just like get his free. You could just like go
Yeah,
on like some course for life.com or something and get his courses for like $20
that's
instead
a
of
lot of work
paying.
for some people, though, man.
Holy shit! It's
They're
just
paying
like I'm
for a
like,
$4,000 convenience fee. Yeah.
yeah. Unfortunately, is this there's a lot of sad and desperate people. So in general, it's a human instinct that these con men are after is that the humans in general are looking for their messiah in
Yeah.
some way, instinctively, you know.
Right.
And these
They
con
want a
men,
leader.
you know, they don't give a fuck. Some of them say, "I'm teaching them a lesson. I'm their
Mm.
teacher. I'm their teacher. You know, if they got scammed by me, they're gonna learn a life lesson." I'm like, what
Yeah.
kind of fucking shit is this? It's like, what? Oh man.
You can
But wait,
rationalize anything, bro. I mean,
but
if you could be the
Jax,
combination of Osho and Tony Robbins and what's one more? No, I was gonna say the Austrian painter, but that's a little bit too much. I'll say Napoleon.
or
Uh,
or even Bernie.
you will probably be the next manager of the New World Order that's coming into fruition that we're talking about earlier.
I mean, I think Tommy's just going a little bit overboard with it.
It
But at the same
could
time, I
happen though.
mean, yeah, it's a banker's wet dream, you know, to basically financially enslave us. So it's
Hmm.
like, yeah, you know, it is what it is. But
Look at this. Jack said, "My ticket wasn't that much, but I flew across the country and paid for a house for a few." Yeah, that probably was at least a G, at least, right? Or at least you
yeah,
know what I mean. From 500 to a G, that's a lot of money.
it,
Yeah,
at
but if you
least
like it,
Jack got some. He got some positive vibes instead of going to a MGTOW house where it's just a bunch of gay
oh
people,
man,
gay men just like hating women, paying
talking
for a
about
house.
yeah, you talking about what's this called? 21 convention, 21 closets. Shout out to Hold the Truth.
21 closets. Holy
Yeah.
shit, 21
Uh,
closets. I mean, I can't help but laugh at that.
uh,
That shit is funny.
you gotta
Oh
get me
man.
to tap in with Hold. The Shadow back with the Shadow Buddha's comment. Fun fact: a lot of self development gurus books stem from Buddhism. That's true, but they twist it to their descriptions and ulterior motives. Yeah, they do because Buddhism is. I mean, it talks about what the poop socks loves to talk about in terms of suffering. Right, the masses,
Oh
the
yeah.
asses love suffering, right? And what is the Buddhism? One of the pillars or one of the tenets is life is suffering, right?
Pretty
Yeah.
much. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like they use certain dynamics of religion.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, like I said before, if you're able to unlock that messiah instinct in everybody, then you're the perfect victim for the con man. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's just how it is. But
Yeah.
if you could at least, I mean, I say like don't pay the person that much money. Just go on the course.com, just find it
Yeah.
online and see if it's actually good. But I'm telling you, I'm saving you time. Don't ever do it because it's just like they kind of do repetitive brainwashing and then eventually you're going to pay and then you're going to regret. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good advice from Shift. And then granted that Shift's a younger dude, so it's easy for you've been growing up with the internet, so it's easy for you to access that stuff. But just because it's easier for you or the younger folks doesn't mean that we older guys can't, you know, do some work and do our research online, right? Instead of just
oh yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
The biggest thing is finding the person, who the fuck they are. How did they make their money? What makes them qualified to say certain things? And and usually the con men, they're, you know, they don't check the boxes whatsoever. It's like pretty damn obvious. They hide things. And then, you know, it requires investigation. And I'd love to expose that. I really do. Like, I actually find it really funny when you see how they scam and you just
Uh-huh.
tell people and they get so defensive. I had a stream and people were just defending their cult leaders. I'm just like calling them
Mm.
out. And it says like, how come you're on YouTube then? How come
Right.
what's your agenda?
Yeah.
It's like, why you hate YouTube? I was like, I'm trying to help you. If you don't realize that, then you're fucking retarded. All right, I can't
Yeah.
help you. And so that's about it. You know?
Well, I mean, they're doing what Look Within what the comment says. Their justification for psychopaths. That's what they're
Yeah,
doing. Yeah.
yeah. They're trying to be the teacher to these people of these poor victims,
Mhm.
unfortunately. But
That's a
yeah. And Jack said here, I
what's it
was
say?
looking for education. Tony Robbins shares a lot of great methods. I went from wanting to die with my drinking to wanting to help others. I mean, that's good.
That's great.
That's actually great.
That's what
But
I'm saying, man.
after a
You want some?
while, I mean, if it helped you, yes. But then afterwards, you don't need them anymore. Like, don't keep paying them. Like, trust me,
Yeah.
like, you have more than enough to be your own. You could be Jack motherfucking Tilcott. You don't need Tony Robbins. You
Yeah.
know?
It seems like he does it. Like he's running with it. That catalyst he needed, because some people need that shit. A lot of people went into the Nation of Islam when they were in prison, when they were at their lowest, when they zeroed themselves out, and they came out and they cleaned themselves up and civilized them, and they spent some time there when they got out. But then now they're not even involved in that. So it's like it did what it did, just like friends, certain people, acquaintances, they come to us at certain parts of our life, but
Yes.
we move on though, right? And wish them well, like he said. Jack with the comment, I tried pursuing the commercial path of coaching and choose to model myself after OG coaches, ancient philosophers, and ascended master. Yeah, you're probably better off of doing that than OG like ascended masters and philosophers instead of like Grant Cardone, right?
Yeah,
People
I
like
mean,
that. People like that.
I mean, those people are obvious scammers. Like, it's
Yeah.
just like the money grifting and the finance gurus. I mean, those guys are obviously very, very clueless. I mean, I wouldn't, if you require investment advice from some fucking pinhead, you're going to be in big trouble. Like, so I just recommend people let's invest in the market index, call it a day, live your life. Most people, it's like I'm telling you, you got to be kind of a maniac to look at this shit.
Right.
It's just, yeah,
You have to be. You're built a certain way.
yep.
Yeah. This is a comment from Jack again. Wisdom empowers people. People only know what they have learned. Yeah, absolutely.
But
And then
the
go
ultimate
ahead.
thing is applying that wisdom,
Hmm.
right? And having, I think the most important thing when you learn from ancient philosophers like Plato, Socrates, and Aristotle is that you learn to develop critical thinking. Like, I'm trying to get into Plato, and I'll be honest, like, I don't fucking understand what the fuck is the point, like, reading it, but those type of books, are the best type of books, because if you don't understand it, then you're going to be thinking more of what they really mean and try to interpret what they really mean, and that develops that critical mind that people need in order to
Hmm.
develop good judgment, morals, morality, accountability, credibility, thinking for yourself. It's important. That's what philosophy is. I think it's very useful when it comes to that. No.
It is. Yeah, because when you focus on the ideas of the philosopher's saying rather than the person and themselves, the cult of personality, like these new age gurus and stuff are, um, and like that's what Jack says, people can become addicted to gurus, religions, and tradition. Right? They're just like so there's a serial, um, um, what do they call that? Yeah, people who switch from relationship to relationship, serial monogamy, right? They never
Yeah.
had spent time with themselves. Same thing in terms of spirituality and self help. Virgo, self help, right?
It,
They did switch from guru to guru, religion to tradition. They just flip it. I've been there, bro. I got a lot of planets in Virgo, so I've done that a lot. I have to realize to slow down, right? Slow
yeah.
down, take it slow, man. See what we have. Yeah.
It's like people enter these. religion is kind of like a black hole, and many people are entering different universes where they really are kind of a detriment to themselves because
Mm-hmm.
they're not able to discern what is really good for them. Like takes the good parts and throw the other bad parts away. And I think that that's what is missing nowadays. And it's very easy when you're younger because your mind is like a sponge and you want to get, you're so entranced by what the person is saying and you're so motivated. But then you come to realize that person wasn't what you thought he was. And then you kind of see also the damage and you hope to, if you ever get caught by these scammers,
Uh,
if you ever had like an inclination that they're doing
mm-hmm.
something wrong, then just get out as soon as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good thing what you said. Like you put these people on the pedestal and you don't see their blind spots until later on, right? It's kind of like as a parent, even if you're the best parent, um, you're gonna be doing weird stuff, especially if you were younger when you had your children. You're gonna you're gonna be doing weird things as you try to help your children grow and guide them, right? So by the time they get older, the older they get, you better make sure you had integrity and really cleaned up your act because they'll start picking you apart and they may look at you as a scammer and whatnot. But if that child is evolved and stuff, they'll realize too that I think we talked about this too about our parents, like how, yeah, I realize that they made mistakes. They're people too, but but some people don't have that awareness, that zoomed out perspective to look at their parents like that. Realize, okay, they made a mistake, but they meant well, type of shit, because they're people too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
provided they were good parents and
right. Probably they were good
all
parents,
that.
right? And
Give
even if
them
they
some
weren't,
slack.
let's talk about Islam, bro. Even if they weren't, you're supposed to respect your parents no matter what, even if they beat you and stuff. Even though that's crazy, doesn't mean you have to be
Hmm.
around them when you're older, but you're always supposed to respect your parents because they brought you in. They were the vessel that brought you in to this world from the Most High. You know.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. This is how it is. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think everybody got like a lashing or like a butt spanking.
Hmm.
It's normal, but I think nowadays parents are afraid to install discipline. Nowadays, which is like kind of you have to teach that. I think like that's why I feel pretty bad for single mothers in a way because like
Hmm.
they can't be a father. Like
Of course not.
a child needs a mother and a father,
Yeah.
and now it's like women have to do both if they're like single mothers, and
Yeah.
it's not practical.
It's not practical. It's probably, I would say, in my opinion, it's probably better off if you had to do an emergency, a single parent, probably be better to have it with the dad in general, be the single parent,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah, granted, you probably lose out on some of the nurturing that the mother is really good at, supposed to be naturally,
Hmm.
but still, at least you'll protect them more, and show them how to put up their boundaries, rather than like the mother who shows you to be open and love the world, which is a good thing too. But you need
Yeah,
boundaries.
because
Yeah.
in society, women are protected mostly.
Yes.
And but as a man, we have no protections. If
Right.
we're involved in a with a bully or an altercation, like only a man can really understand what to go through, what to avoid, how to protect yourself, defend yourself. That's what only a man can really explain to like a son,
Hmm.
like in a way. Now, I guess like if you have like a daughter, it's going to be a little bit different. Like I think it's like kind of the opposite, where it's like if a father has a daughter, then it's like you kind of like you protect her, but you don't want to be harsh, because it's your daughter and stuff like that. I've seen that with certain
It's a Ben
fathers.
Reels. Ben Reels' wife died, and that's how the situation he has, where he's raising his
Ah,
daughter, and he's going to be harsh on her, like when it's needed. However, he has to. You remember when I used to talk to him, like you remember, he has to remember you can't, like you said, you have to have mercy too. You just can't have punishment. If you look at the Kabbalah tree, one side is punishment, and the direct opposite is mercy. So
yes.
you gotta show mercy too. So it's a balance.
It's like you
You
could
said the
be
Libra.
firm, Like
Firm, yeah.
you could be firm. Now with your
Hmm.
son, yeah, like obviously you don't want to be so harsh.
Hmm.
You got to show that firmness and teach discipline and realize like, look, you got to learn this if you want to become great in whatever you do,
Right.
because we as men either we
Well,
become leaders or like we just turn into nothing, kind of. Yeah.
you'd be zeroed out. And then, I mean, I was about to wrap it up, but Shadowback brought this thing that we were talking about. He wants me to talk to you about for a second. Um, Book Gabriel, do you want to talk to Shift about our discussion on revising the manosphere and pill concepts? Yeah, I mean, we've kind of been getting at this for a long time, Shift, about like how,
Mhm.
and speaking of Hold the Truth, how he has a philosophy. He has a pill for everything, a pink pill, red pill,
Mhm.
rainbow pill. Like, but I was thinking, like, I was gonna keep it simple. I'm not like in the cult of the black pill where I only can talk about the black pill and like how that's the only way and all this shit. No, I'm gonna be realistic. I learned from all the pills, black, red, blue. And first of all, as you said before, like the pills are from medication. It's temporary until you get healed, right? You ain't supposed to take
Yes.
pills all the time. And with that said, I would say it's good to have black pill awareness, meaning that knowing that there's certain things in the world that are either you cannot change or are very difficult to change. That's a good thing to know, right? There's some things, right, you can't change.
Yeah. I
But
think yeah, it really comes down to like people's frames of thinking.
mhm,
When they think of blue pill, they think it's like being a normie is a bad thing, when really I
nah,
don't
it's a good
consider
thing.
it bad. The red is basically, they want to they want to achieve like kind of like being that mythical alpha character, which really doesn't
Hmm.
fucking exist and nobody gives a fuck.
Right.
And it comes down to like worshiping external things. You're worshiping women, you're worshiping money, you're worshiping cars. When reality is, it's kind of like that's not the beauty of life. And then when they don't achieve it, then they get into nihilistic type of thinking where they think that it's because of their external factors that their life sucks, when really their frame of thinking is flawed. So the biggest that's what I'm trying to connect here. So
Yeah, because no, you have a good point. Because what they're doing is what you mentioned is they're looking at the red pill frame through a flawed version of what I see what the red pill was actually at its core supposed to be. Like I said, the black pill is more of looking at the truths that you can't really change and deal with the stuff you could and only deal with the stuff that you can actually working with. I think the red pill is
yes,
like the we can once you establish those things in a situation, use the red pill, which is to find solutions and you actually use the tools in a way that are advantageous to you. And what you said about the ideal version of the alpha male, a giga chad, red pill with it's unattainable. However, it's sometimes it's good to shoot for something that's an ideal that's maybe you can't because if you're shooting for it and health you have a healthy way of looking at it that like I may not be a possible, but even if I get a little close to that, I'm already going to do good, right? So that's why I see the red pill as a way to look at use 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 what you have to better your life, and then what the blue pill comes into it as a way of putting the sugar in life, the being nice and kind and generous, right? Like and you sprinkle that in because you just can't be a fucking red pill douche and you just can't be a black pill nihilist. But
yeah.
when you sprinkle the blue in there, being a quote unquote normie, a nice guy, a kind person, I'd rather say that. Shoot, you can do wonders if you look at life like that. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean.
Like
That's what I do.
I feel like I have all the pills combined and a
Right?
little bit
Exactly.
higher, because it's like for
Yeah.
me the black pill is like just like things that you can't control, which is like finance and people at the top. Do we
Yeah.
have the power to control that? No. Like to influence that? No. But there is a workaround, which is the red, which is uncovering the truth about things.
Hmm.
And then, you realize you need the blue, which is the
Mm-hmm.
beauty of the world,
Right.
and having that moderation. And that comes in with basically honing in all those to make your own religion of life with your own philosophy that only you made yourself, that is unique to you, that allows you to have optimum levels of confidence to achieve your goals and to be prosperous in your own definition away from other people. And that ties in with also mass psychology, being separate from the herd. But this is like the next step. This is the next step of evolution. Uncovering things that you don't like about yourself, you like about yourself, you know your strengths and weaknesses, you know your limitations also. But at the same time, it doesn't deter you from trying to achieve the unattainable. All right, so it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like it's a balance and a paradox, but it's different for every other person. And you know, you gotta. But what I hate about these pills is that they just apply to women. It's like, come on, women, like,
Right. Right. That's such
yeah,
limited.
it's
It's
very,
important,
very
but come
limited.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in
This is
reality is, you know, I'm sorry,
no. Go ahead.
women just want to know. Women just want to know if you're in charge of your life, you're taking care of things, you're
Right.
a big swinging dick. That's it, right?
That's it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Shout out to Tommy.
That's
That's what Tommy be saying all the time. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. No, because look at like it's not just about you just made it simple about the women, but what Shadow and I were talking about and what you're talking about, you're pointing at too, is like we're talking about on a whole grand scheme of things in life in general, right? And this is like what Shadow says right here. He says the first stage is the black pill is self awareness, having awareness of your situation, a real um, honest look at your self awareness, what you're doing. And the second stage is the red pill, which is then having social awareness too. You know, and then we're not talking about
yeah.
like that whole look. What do you call it? Like traction IQ or whatever. Like
Oh,
that's
that's
so
complete
vague.
bull.
No, we're that's abstract. We're being concrete. Was what we're talking about,
Yes,
bro. Yes, there's a difference.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then the third stage is Shadowbeck says transitional awareness, you know, softening or communicating red pill language to different groups in society with that in business, relationships, and friendship. That boom, y'all, y'all hit the nail on the head. Us three, right?
It's an art form
Yeah.
when it comes down to it, that if you're able to get along with other people of all different types of cultures and different
Mm-hmm.
types of expectations. But it also comes down to also realizing sometimes you're just not going to get along with people, and that is
Right.
totally
That's black pill.
okay. That's totally fine. Like, it's just you need to have that. You need to have that, you know, like that self-awareness, like of just like, hey, all right, it is what it is. Fuck it. It doesn't matter. It's not going to deter me. I think. I think every man has to go through that type of in the pits, you know, and that's what Scorpios love. We love the pit. We love the endless bottom. You know,
Right.
if we're very low level, we get addicted to that shit. But then afterwards, it's like, okay, I'm tired of feeling like this. It's time to go. It's time to go up. It's time to fly. You know,
Yeah.
and yeah, and it's a journey. It's a journey of self-reflection and social awareness, definitely, and just you know, I'm gonna add to it having critical thinking and good judgment. I think that's very important.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which is,
Absolutely
I
critical
think
thinking.
critical thinking could apply to the red pill. Good judgment can apply to the red pill also.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like and accountability, credibility. That's I think that applies mostly to the blue because that's how the old world kind of is, but it still is because at the end of the day, people remember you who what you did and who you are, you know, instead of
Right.
your external factors, you know, and
Your legacy.
unfortunately. unfortunately, people get stuck in the bottom of the pit too long. It's very addicting. The people just don't want to escape.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
that that pit is like that's when people commit Sudoku. I say Sudoku for the YouTube, but Sudoku, yeah, it's like
Self
it's
deletion.
endless. Yeah, and that's
Huh?
why
Or even a slow form of self deletion, which is like their miserable, weak life that they live, not using as we say, mathematics and science, which is critical thinking, measuring the signs of life to what you're trying to do. Yeah.
And you see now the grifters and the scammers, they're getting into that where they talk about external factors that don't really fucking matter. Really.
Yeah.
Like if you are constantly obsessed about mewing or like fucking your facial structure.
I love it.
I'm like, bro, just lose weight, go to the gym. Very simple. It's not looks maxing, it's general health. Nobody likes a fat person. Let's be fucking real. Being fat is unhealthy. Obesity is not sexy. But some people just love being fat. If you love to be fat, at least own up to it. Just say, yeah, I'm a big mafia boss. I have more respect for those type of people, like that own up to themselves and they like who they are. Like I think that's also a powerful way of doing it. It's like that's what I'm trying to say. It's like there's no prescription that you could fit all. Like it's like people got to figure out for themselves. That's the most important thing, or else you end up in a cult. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
No, you're right. Look at this. Let me show you this. What people think. This is what you said about the mewing. This is some of the brain rot that will come across my son's YouTube shit. Right? They have this thing called this kid named the Rizla. Speaking about being overweight.
Can you teach me how to do the Riz face?
Like this?
He's teaching people how to mew. Look at these kids how to mew. I don't know if you can see this. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Can you teach me how to do the Riz face?
Like this?
Okay, so I'm pulling my eye
They
down.
call him the Rizzler.
Raise the eyebrow. Am I doing all right so
Yeah,
far?
okay.
This is the part where I struggle. I don't know how you do like the face like that.
And then you gotta suck in like this.
He's teaching them how to mew.
You got the cheeks like pop out. I don't know how you do.
That looks like an emoji.
Shit.
I'm telling you, man.
Am I doing all right?
That looks like an emoji, like look at mine, the winking emoji,
Yeah.
and then just the
Oh,
like
because
the
it's
kissy
just
face
the eyes
emoji.
have to be open, right? So I'm winking my eye. So I go like this.
That's pretty good. That's
That's pretty good.
That's pretty
Okay. Out of 10, what do you
That's
rate
not
it?
good, right?
I'm gonna say 5. 5.
That's pretty good.
7.
7?
kids
What
mewing,
do they
bro.
call this? What is that called
boys.
again?
1,000.
Can you tell me how
I
that
don't
started?
know
Where'd you
what
get
the
this whole?
fuck.
Was it just online and you just had?
My friends actually taught me how to do
They
it.
call
really?
him the
And then I
Rizzler.
just said, "This is how you do the face of a Rizzler."
It's so
And then I
good.
said,
It's so good. Yeah.
I mean,
Come on.
at least they're kind of making fun of it. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like,
that's true.
yeah.
That's
With
true.
kids, it's like a little bit more like positive. It's not like the
Yeah.
extreme
But people are
gangstar
having
bullshit.
yeah, Gangstar wants to, he's too probably broke. I don't know his financial status, but the way he presents himself with his crappy production, and he lives in like, what do you say, a halfway house, right?
Yeah,
Like he doesn't have
it's
money, but
pretty
if he
honest.
did, you knew he would get the bone structure surgery, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's they got a mental disorder. And reality is, it's like, who the fuck are you? What are you doing? Stop wasting your fucking time.
Yeah.
Just like, come on. And then they don't realize they think it's like beta to have a healthy relationship with love,
I
or
know.
like even think of the concept. And I just think like, wow, these people are just, man, just stay
Psychopaths.
away from these people. They're completely, they got like bipolar or depressive disorder, like really major depressive disorder. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, Hold the Truth said it that in the way he sees it is like all these incels, and I'm not gonna say that inquels. Fuck it, they're incels, bro. They actually want a relationship, but they're so bogged down in their weak way of looking at life that they project the opposite. When in fact they really want a girlfriend. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's just I don't know. It's just like I'm so completely removed from them because
Uh-huh.
the biggest thing is like you're busy, you're doing things, and I think a lot of them they really got to go outside in nature and start.
Right.
How about you start loving nature first? Then you start thinking about how to fix your life, build a system, start, do anything that gets you moving, go with a hobby or whatever, and then work from there. Start socializing. I
Yep.
mean, but they
Yeah.
don't
Simple.
want, they're just so afraid. It's like, I mean, even a Discord with like gaming people, like, the like a Fortnite is still better than hanging out with that toxic community dissing women constantly when
Hmm.
really women are very, very vulnerable. Like they're not they're very emotionally, like they bleed.
Yeah.
They bleed every month. Like come on. It's like
They bleed and they
they're-
also love you too. Like Supreme would say, you can give them a bag of leaves, and if they really love you, they'll be like cherish it as the best gift they ever got because they love so much too.
yeah,
So it's like
exactly.
what are you gonna do, bro? And yeah, now I gotta do my main mission. I'm sure you have some stuff to do. It's night over there in Gotham City, right, my friend?
Yep. Yes, it
Okay.
is. Yep.
Shout out
It's
to the
time.
Power Spear for having fucking his video go mini viral last night.
Oh,
That's some
oh,
cool
thank
shit.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I mostly just like do it off handle. I use the phone and I think it hits the short and vertical
Hmm.
feed, but I realize like, man, there's some crazy trolls like
Yeah.
but it's kind of funny, I just kind of just do it just to share my thoughts. That's pretty much it. You guys
You
could
could
check it out
video
if
it.
you want.
Let me put it in the. I'm gonna put it in the chat right now, so
Yeah,
people can check it out and sub up to my good
yeah.
friend, my
If
brother's
you,
channel.
yeah, and I think some people will be interested because they will know about a certain character. He's not a character though. To me, he's a legend, but
Hmm. Boom.
he's not. He's kind of an enemy of YouTube. So uh,
Yeah.
just check it out. Check the community posts. And
Yeah.
he has some crazy stuff, but he's really good. So you guys want to
Cool.
check it out? Like that's what I learned from the finance from that guy. So he's really good.
Absolutely. Shout out to Mikey Staffis, the OG goat. Yeah. Shit. So
Yeah.
let's close it out. So this has been why I hate Scorpios. Because in order to hate something with a passion, you gotta love it with a passion as well. A hint of
Yep.
the wise is sufficient. And special thanks to Shift for holding it down, riding shotgun, and Shadow Buddha in the house, Jack, Look Within, K, everyone on code, Tommy, Illumitami. Yeah, that's about it. Oh, Ezra, Mindful Exposures, Machine Lies stopped by. The Machine Lies. Yeah, and in the coming days, we'll see you next time. I get that from when I say in the coming days. You probably heard me say that a million times now. That's from Tupac's album Machiavelli Blasphemy, where he
Yeah.
uses a preacher's voice where he goes, "God has a plan," and the Bible unfolds that wonderful plan for the message of prophecy. Then he goes, and in the coming days, we'll see you next time here on the Book of Gabriel.